Hello, everyone. Welcome to the MTL collection. If you enjoy the audiobooks, please consider subscribing to my channel. If you'd like me to create an audiobook for any novel with chapters freely available online, you can support me on Patreon and request the novel of your choice. For YouTube fanfic, you can ask the author for permission on my behalf. Once the author grants permission, share a screenshot of their approval on Discord, and I'll create the audiobook and upload it on YouTube, giving full credit to the author in the description.
It's the Potara earrings. In this time and space, Vegeta and I can use the Potara earrings to fit together. Son Goku looked at Vegeto, who had successfully merged in the distance, showing an incredulous expression. Because at this moment, Vegeto came up in the blue state of Super Saiyan God, and the powerful power released from his body made Son Goku feel a little unbelievable. I'm afraid he has surpassed himself with the power of Fusion God? Don't make a fuss, I have already understood this place by typing. It should be a chaotic parallel time and space, so there is nothing strange about what happens in this place. 27. Sohan said slowly. However, at this time, Golden Cooler had already lost to the evil Saiyan Kampa, and was beaten back to his original appearance. Fortunately, at this time, Vegeto has also completed his transformation. The moment Cooler couldn't hold on anymore, Vegeto rushed forward immediately. This guy is really strong enough. How quickly he defeated Gold Cooler, Vegeto said with some surprise. But soon the expression on Vegeto's face turned into a confident smile again. Then the corners of his mouth raised slightly, and he said with a smile, "But it's a pity, no matter how powerful you are, it's useless. Because I will definitely defeat you." Vegeto is very confident in his own strength. The body quickly rushed towards the direction of Kamba. However, because of the lessons learned by Son Goku, Gogeta did not choose to fight Kampa directly this time. Instead, after getting close to Kamba's body, he immediately made a Kamehameha wave. Boom! Kamba obviously didn't expect Vegeto to use such an attack method, and then the whole person was ruthlessly blown away. Finally, it smashed hard on the hill in the distance. But even so, Kampa was not defeated immediately. On the contrary, he didn't seem to have suffered any injuries on his body. Ha! Rustling. Under Kamba's roar, his black hair instantly turned golden. The eyebrows disappeared, and it directly became the state of Super Saiyan 3. At this moment, the energy emanating from Kamba's body is even more powerful. Even Vegeto in the distance couldn't help frowning after feeling such a powerful energy. Has he become a Super Saiyan? Although his strength has become stronger, the evil spirit around his body has disappeared. In this way, you don't have to worry about being infected when fighting close to him, and then losing control. After noticing this, Vegeto didn't stop there. The body stepped forward quickly, and the fist was like a comet, smashing towards Kamba's body. In the face of Vegeto's attack, Kamba also seemed extraordinarily calm, and he didn't even see any panic. He stretched out his arm quickly, and then slammed into Vegeto's fist fiercely. Boom! The moment the two fists touched, powerful energy immediately spread out around the bodies of the two. Even the ground under the two of them's feet was shaken out of a huge deep pit by powerful energy at this moment. Your strength is indeed strong, but I am stronger, said Vegeto, punched out again, and this punch was faster. Even without warning, it hit Kampa's abdomen directly. Punch in the belly. Kampa's body immediately flew out like a kite with a broken string. Call. It looks like this evil Saiyan is about to be defeated. After seeing Kamba being knocked into the air, Son Goku breathed out slowly, and then said with confidence, "Don't think it's so simple. Things are not as easy as you think." Regarding Son Goku's words, Sohan just shook his head. If Kampa's strength is only like this, it would be too boring. After all, no matter how powerful Kampa's strength is, it is only Super 3. It is understandable that Kaioshan is powerful, and it is impossible to surpass Kaioshan. But Kamba has the unique ability in the entire Dragon Ball world. That is to become a golden giant ape, and in this state, Kampa is as powerful as Vegeto. Master Sohan, does it mean that this guy still has power that hasn't been displayed yet? Son Goku hasn't read the original book, so naturally he doesn't know what other strengths Kamba has yet to display. Boom! However, at this moment, a burst of powerful energy burst out. Kamba slowly flew out from the ruins. Although he looked a little embarrassed at the moment, the ferocious smile on his face never disappeared. This guy's strength is really strong? His breath seems to have improved a lot. Seeing Kampa, who had regained his fighting ability not far away, Vegeto's expression also became serious. Because Vegeto was also very clear in his heart that against such an opponent, the Jedi could not show mercy. And it must be taken seriously, otherwise the defeated person may become his own. Because although his current strength is strong, it is just the energy obtained through the fit. Once the time is over, or its own energy is exhausted, it will disintegrate. And if it really disintegrates, then he and Vegeta will definitely not be able to defeat Kamba. GGG. Do you think you can defeat me like this? Don't be too wishful thinking. My strength is not as strong as you can imagine. As he spoke, Kamba stretched out his palm, and then a white energy ball appeared in his hand. However, at this moment, Kamba directly threw the energy light ball in his hand. When the energy light ball flew into the air, it turned into an artificial moon. When Kamba saw the artificial moon, his eyes became blood red. Then the body quickly became more than twice as large, and golden hair grew all over the body. This guy turned into a golden giant ape. Seeing Kempa who turned into a golden giant ape in the distance, Vegito said helplessly. Because Vegito can clearly feel that Kempa's strength has been greatly improved at the moment. So facing such an enemy at this moment, even if it is himself, he must take it seriously. Otherwise, if the time is up, or the energy is exhausted, it will be terrible. Roar. The golden giant ape Kumba let out a roar and powerful energy spewed out from his mouth immediately. Boom. But Vegito seemed to have a premonition, and immediately dodged the opponent's attack. Then a body appeared behind Kemba in an instant. Blast out with a punch. Snapped. But in the next second, he was actually slapped by Kemba. Then without giving Vegito any chance to react, Kemba threw out another punch. Vegito's body was directly thrown into the air. Boom. And at the moment when the two fell to the ground, because of the exhaustion of transformation energy, the two of them actually untied the combined state directly. Damn, Wang Li's, it's over. Vegeta clenched his fist tightly, but he knew that facing such an opponent, he had no chance of winning. Even in the combined state, you can't defeat the opponent, so now that you are in contact with each other, it may be even more impossible for you to defeat the opponent. And just when Kemba launched another attack, a red figure suddenly stood in front of Vegeta and the two of them. This final attack was made for the two of them? Is it you, from another time and space? Vegeta looked at Super 4 Vegeta in another time and space in front of him, and said Lee, in surprise. Looking at the Vegeta who looked exactly like him in front of him, Kaolin Vegeta was stunned. Shout, Kakarot, don't waste the event, get together. Super 4 Vegeta ignored Super Blue Vegeta's inquiry. Instead, he turned his gaze to Super 4 Son Goku on the other side. When Super 4 Son Goku looked at Super 4 Vegeta, he also nodded. Then immediately took out the Potara earrings and put them on. Because both of them knew very well in their hearts that this evil Saiyan was very powerful. If they didn't fit together to deal with it, I'm afraid that the four of them together might not be his opponent. So now if you want to defeat the opponent 810, you can only fit together. After the two put the earrings on, their bodies seemed to be attracted to each other. Then the bodies of the two people were directly absorbed together. Then, a burst of dazzling white light flashed, and immediately Super 4 Biji appeared in everyone's sight. Bring it on. After completing the fit, Super 4 Vegito has confidence written all over his face. Although Kempa has now turned into a golden giant ape, Super 4 Vegito still doesn't take it seriously. The body appeared behind Kempa in an instant. CHCG, boom. The fist slammed out, directly blasting Kanba's body into the air. This. In another time and space, Vegeta and I can use this method of fusion. Son Goku next to Sohan's eyes widened when he saw the strength of Super 4 Vegeta. Because Son Goku can clearly feel that the strength of this Super 4 Vegito is definitely stronger than that of the previous Super Blue Vegito. No fuss. They should come from other time and space, time patrols, so their strength is naturally not weak. Sohan explained lightly. Time Patrol Son Goku is stronger than Super Blue Son Goku, that's for sure. A time patrolman? I never thought that I would become a time patrolman in other time and space. But speaking of Master Sohan, what exactly is a time patrolman? At this time, Son Goku discovered a more important problem. He has never heard of what a time patrol is, so naturally he is not clear. This problem is more complicated. You can understand it as a patrolman who maintains time balance. Sohan glanced at Son Goku and said. However, his eyes were not on Super 4 Vegito and Kemba. Instead, he looked into the distance. Because Sohan noticed that someone was silently watching the battle. If Sohan's guess is correct, then this person should be Fuyo. What level of strength is this guy, Fuyo? It's really curious. Sohan touched his chin and said. If I didn't guess wrong, Fuyo's strength should also be very strong, at least it must surpass Super 4 Vegito. Otherwise, it would be impossible for this guy to capture Kanba and the others to this place. So there should be no doubt about this. What makes Sohan curious is, since this guy can also spend time, does the other party also have the power of time? This is what Sohan was curious about. However, Sohan was not in a hurry, although he might be able to catch Fuyo directly if he made a move himself, but if the opponent grasped the power of time and escaped. Once you scare the snake by yourself, it will become very difficult to catch the other party later. It can be seen from the details described in the original book. Fuyo, this guy, he also has a certain space or space-time ability, otherwise his means would not be able to cut entire space out of thin air. And since this guy can do this, it is enough to prove that he has the absolute ability to escape. So if you want to catch him, it is estimated to be a very difficult thing. Moreover, Sohan did not dare to use the erasing power on this guy for the time being, although Sohan was not sure whether his own erasing power could directly erase him. But if it is really successful, then Fuyo may really disappear directly, and his clues and the mystery in his heart will not be revealed. So for the time being, Sohan will definitely not use that method. Because whether it succeeds or not, it will not be of any benefit to Sohan. So naturally I didn't do this. Boom. And at this moment, the two of them gathered powerful Qigong cannons respectively. Then they slammed into each other hard. Even when the powerful Qigong cannons of the two collided together, the entire prison planet trembled for it. Even in the sky, those huge chains looming, were all broken by an inch at this time. Stupid crumbs. And at this moment, Fuyo, who was watching the surveillance video in his research room, couldn't sit still. This prison planet was specially created by himself. How could he watch the battle between these two guys completely destroy this place? In this case, wouldn't the results of my own research really be in vain? He will never allow such a thing to happen. Then I saw Fuyu's body quickly appearing at the place where Beckett and Kanba were fighting. I saw him quickly draw out his long knife, then directly cut off Zanba's tail. He didn't give Kanba any chance to react at all. After Kanba's tail was cut off, his whole body rapidly shrank, and finally became the size of a normal person. This kind of battle is right. If you use that kind of high-intensity battle again, this place will be destroyed by you. So you'd better use this method to fight honestly. This is also very convenient for me to collect data. Ask for flowers. After finishing speaking, Fuyu pushed his eyes excitedly, then quickly cut through the space, and jumped in again by himself. Fuyu, this guy. Time Patrol Son Goku couldn't help clenching his fists after seeing this scene. Why didn't he want to catch this guy right away? But he didn't have the ability, because he couldn't catch him with the practical ability possessed by the other party. Moreover, his own instant transmission cannot be directly transferred to the other party's side at all, so it can be said that it has no effect at all. Patrolman Son Goku is really helpless at this point of time. But there is no way, even if it is very difficult to arrest the opponent, it must do this as a time patrol. Otherwise, I would be too sorry for my work. Let's go, Kakarot probably doesn't need us anymore. At this time, Super 4 Vegeta spoke to Son Goku. That's true, but this time, although that guy escaped, his laboratory has been destroyed by me. It can be regarded as some gains. Super 4 Son Goku raised his chin and said yes. Back in the lab, Fuyu. Blanche. How did the laboratory become like this? My experimental data. Damn time patrol. Fu clenched his fists. The whole person is extremely angry. But there is no way, because both the Super 4 Son Goku and the Super Blue Son Goku are his key research targets, so it is naturally impossible for him to let them have problems now. 293. So no matter what happens now, Fuyu can only admit it. Wait until the next chance you have, and do your research. The laboratory has been hidden by me, but I didn't expect it to be discovered. Fuyu let out a sigh of relief and said helplessly. On the other side, Super 4 Son Goku and Super Blue Son Goku and others, and many more. You should be me in another time and space. At this time, Super Blue Son Goku hurriedly came to Super 4 Son Goku and started talking. You're right. Me and Vegeta are both time patrol, and we were caught by that guy on purpose. The purpose is to destroy that guy's plan. Super Son Goku looked at Super Blue Son Goku and said lightly. Since they are all themselves, then naturally there is nothing to hide, and Super 4 Son Goku feels that this Super Blue Son Goku should not be a bad person. Time patrol, it turns out to be like this, but it's really amazing. Two me exist at the same time. Son Goku looked at Super 4 Son Goku curiously. Super Blue Son Goku is even more curious about what Super 4 Son Goku has become. Because there is no way for Saiyan in their time and space to become Super 4. Because Super Saiyan 3 is their limit. Even Vegeta can't turn into Super Saiyan 3 yet. That's why they embarked on the path of Super Saiyan God. Stop wasting time, Kakarot, we have other things to do. Fuyu doesn't know where he will escape next time, so we must hurry up and catch this guy. Super Saiyan Vegeta on the side looked at the two Kakarots with some displeasure, and immediately began to urge them. But Super 4 Son Goku and Super Blue Son Goku ignored him. I haven't noticed the power of God in your body, so your red state should not be Super Saiyan God. Super Blue Son Goku looked at Super 4 Son Goku, and asked curiously. You're right, we really can't become Super Saiyan God. This is Super Saiyan 4. But I don't think the power should be weaker than your Super Saiyan God. A smile appeared on the corner of Son Goku's mouth as he said Super 4, then raised his fist. Although he only had a preliminary fight with Super Blue Son Goku before, both sides didn't even try their best. But Super 4 Son Goku is still very confident. He thinks that at 4.4, his own strength is definitely stronger than this Super Blue himself. How to say, but I don't think I will lose. And my Super Saiyan God Blue is very strong. Kale and Son Goku also spoke a little unconvinced. They are both Son Goku, although they are not Son Goku from the same time and space, but Son Goku's character is reserved. Haha, how do you say it? It looks like you want to fight me. Super 4 Son Goku looked at Super Blue Son Goku, and spoke directly. In fact, there is no need for the other party to say it directly. Super 4 Son Goku also has this idea in his heart. Although Super 4 Son Goku doesn't think he will be defeated by Super Saiyan God, but even so he still wants to be himself in another time and space. What is his strength? I can't ask for more. Facing Super 4 Son Goku, Super Blue Son Goku smiled slightly. A powerful breath of God gushed out of his body in an instant. Srustling. The blue flames, like a blue sword blade, pierced straight into the sky. Oh, it looks like 27 is going to let that fellow Fuyu escape. Seeing Super 4, Vegeta knew that the two of them would not be able to leave for a while. But the problem is not too big, because Fuyu's laboratory has been destroyed by them. All the speeds inside were also destroyed, so Fuyu shouldn't make any big moves in a short time. I also really want to see how strong I am in another time and space. Super 4 Son Goku clenched his fists violently. Powerful energy suddenly spewed out from his body, and it can be seen that the energy spewed out this time is extraordinarily powerful, and the golden arrogance instantly wrapped Super 4 Son Goku's body. Golden flames soared into the sky. For a time, one gold and one basket, two colors actually occupied the entire sky. But just when the two were about to fight, a figure suddenly appeared in the middle of the two. Who? Looking at the man in black who suddenly appeared in front of him, Super Blue Sun Goku frowned immediately. At this moment, the whole person became serious. It's like facing a big enemy. On the other side, Super 4 Sun Goku has the same expression. Frowning tightly, he looked at the man in black in front of him. I didn't find you before, you should have just appeared on the prison planet. Who are you? Super 4 Sun Goku looked at the man in black and asked. At the same time, not only Sun Goku was nervous, but even the two Vegeta in the distance showed serious expressions at this time. This guy unexpectedly appeared here without making a sound. What is his origin? Trunks looked at the man in black with the same nervous expression, as if he was facing a big enemy. Ha ha ha. Everyone don't need to be nervous. Speaking of the black robe, the man took off the black robe on his body. Then he revealed his Son Goku face. What? It's actually me. After seeing Son Goku's appearance clearly, Super Blue Sun Goku's eyes widened with disbelief. This extra self appeared out of thin air, which already made Sun was hung a little hard to accept. Unexpectedly, there is another self now. Kaolin Sun Goku even doubts whether he is dreaming. It's Goku Uncle, but the breath is a bit different. It should be a Goku Uncle from another time and space. 910. At this time, Trunks also spoke in surprise. How come? Super 4 Sun Goku also looked at Sun Goku in disbelief. They are time patrols, so they naturally have the ability to travel across time and space, but what is going on with this Sun Goku in front of them? Why can he also travel across time and space and come to this place? And Super 4 Sun Goku has a hunch. The Sun Goku who came from unknown time and space in front of him is definitely not weaker than himself. Even stronger? Hey. Sorry to scare everyone. To be honest, when I first saw that there were two other me, I was also shocked. Sun Goku scratched his head and said, I am in another time and space. Although I really don't want to believe that I will be a bad person in another time and space. But please give me a reasonable explanation. How did you come to this time and space? Super 4 Sun Goku frowned slightly and looked at Sun Goku. For this sudden appearance of Sun Goku, Super 4 Sun Goku has a lot of hostility. Although Sun Goku is very reluctant to believe that in a parallel time and space, he has become a bad person. But this has to be said to be a very possible thing. And know that in general, except for their time patrolling, other people do not have the right to cross time and space. Even if they do, it is a felony and they will be punished very severely. So even if the other party is not a bad person, since he has crossed time and space without authorization, this is also a felony? Even if it is another time-space self, Super 4 Sun Goku will never forgive. Hehe. I never thought that Kakarot from another time and space would do such a thing. Kakarot, it seems that you are not a good person in all time and space. At this time, Super 4 Vegeta suddenly came over. He also looked at Sun Goku with a serious face. He is a time patrol officer. What they have to do is to arrest those criminals who leave their own time and space without authorization and enter other time and space. And the unknown Sun Goku in front of him is clearly a need for arrest. This. I said I don't know why, but I came to this place as soon as I woke up. Did you reply? Sun Goku scratched his head and looked at the crowd with some embarrassment. But because Sohan has explained his relationship with these things before, Sun Goku's performance will not be too nervous. On the contrary, it seems that they have long expected that they will ask this question. It's a liar. But since you don't want to say something, I can only beat you down and let you speak slowly. Speaking of Super 4, Vegeta took a step forward, pulled Super 4 Sun Goku and Super Blue Sun Goku behind. Put it back, all of you, it's our time patrol duty, and how the hell did this guy get here? Of course I'm trying to figure it out. Kakarot, I'm here to deal with you in another time and space. You should have no objection. As he spoke, Vegeta glanced at Super 4 Sun Goku, and said with a somewhat smug expression, No, but Vegeta, I don't think this guy is weak, so you'd better be careful. Super 4 Sun Goku reminded him a little worriedly. Cut. Kakarot, what are you kidding me? You think I will be defeated by you in another time and space? Stop kidding. Speaking of Super 4, Vegeta's fists were clenched fiercely, and then powerful energy burst out from his body. Rustle. The golden arrogance instantly enveloped Vegeta's entire body. It can be seen that Vegeta did not retain his strength, but showed it all at this moment. Because he also wants to see if Kakarot in another time and space is his opponent. You will still be defeated by yourself? But even after feeling the powerful energy of Super 4 Vegeta, Sun Goku's face still looked extraordinarily calm. Niu Zhao Zhao. It seems to have been expected. Then he opened his mouth and said, Super Saiyan 4. Sorry, I can do it in this state. The corners of Sun Goku's mouth raised slightly as he spoke, and then his fists were slightly clenched. Brush. Golden flames gushed out instantly. And at this moment Sun Goku also became the state of Super Saiyan 4. And it is not difficult to see from the aura exuded by the two of them, it seems that the energy on Sun Goku is stronger than the energy on Super 4 Vegeta. What's going on here? This guy can actually become a Super Saiyan 4, and his aura is not weaker than mine. Gilo. Super 4 Sun Goku swallowed his saliva, and his heart was even more turbulent. He couldn't believe the scene in front of him. What was going on? It's okay for this guy who looks exactly like me to suddenly appear on the prison planet, but how could this guy become a Super 4? Isn't this a mode that only one's own time and space can achieve? Who the hell is this guy? 687 Damn, can you become Super Saiyan 4 too? However, my son-in-law King Vegeta will never be defeated, and the only one who wins is my son-in-law King Vegeta. Speaking of Super 4, Vegeta stopped thinking and went directly to Son Goku. The fist swung out violently. Like a meteorite, the speed was so fast that it even ignited the surrounding air. Just when everyone thought Son Goku was going to be defeated by Super 4 Vegeta, in the next second, a shocking scene happened. Snapped. Son Goku actually blocked Super 4 Vegeta's full blow just by extending his palm, but his whole body still stood in place, and he didn't even retreat. His face was even extraordinarily calm, as if he had just done a trivial thing. Nothing to brag about at all. This guy's strength. Seeing this scene, Super Blue Son Goku also widened his eyes. Although Super Blue Son Goku feels that he is very strong, even stronger than Super 4 Son Goku. But when Kaolin Son Goku saw the Son Goku in front of him, he lost confidence in his heart. Because Kaolin Son Goku felt that he was unable to defend against the punch just now, but the opponent can block it so easily. This is enough to show how strong the opponent is. Damn it. You BD, how could you attack me so easily? Are you kidding me? CHBB, seeing that his attack was easily defended by Son Goku, the expression on Vegeta's face became ferocious. He couldn't allow this to happen. I am a noble Saiyan prince, how can I be deflated in the hands of Kakarot in another time and space? You must defeat him? Why does Vegeta in another time and space have such a violent temper? Could it be that Vegeta in all time and space has the same temper? Son Goku scratched his head in doubt. On the other side, Kaolin Vegeta, after hearing Son Goku's words, his entire face turned red. Nim is trash. What Super 4 Vegeta? My Super Blue Vegeta is the strongest. At this time, Super Blue Vegeta couldn't take it anymore. Immediately a burst of air rushed up. Then he slammed at Son Goku. And Super 4 Vegeta seems to have noticed this too. In an instant, the two actually hit it off. Then they waved their fists and attacked Son Goku. Boom. Accompanied by two fists of Vegeta blasting towards Son Goku's body. At this time, the expression on Son Goku's face became serious. Then stretched out two arms, directly blocked the attacks of the two. Crack. Yo, I almost forgot, there is another Vegeta here. Although Son Goku was knocked back 2 steps by the joint blow of the two, he still easily resisted their attack. Then he replied with a relaxed face. UBD, Kakarot. Super 4 Vegeta and Super Blue Vegeta roared out almost at the same time, they never expected it. With the two teaming up, Son Goku easily blocked his own attack by taking only 2 steps back. There is such a thing. At the very least, Son Goku in their respective time and space is absolutely unable to do this. I don't want to fight with you Vegeta, although you are not Vegeta in my time and space, but Vegeta and I have always been very good friends, so I don't want to hurt you. Seeing the ferocious expressions on the faces of the two, Son Goku took the initiative to speak. The purpose of Son Goku's initiative is not to fight the two Vegetas, but to fight with Son Goku in parallel time and space. After all, only by surpassing oneself can one be truly successful, and the matter of surpassing Vegeta has no temptation for Son Goku. After all, in the time and space he was in, Vegeta was not his opponent in the first place. So it doesn't seem like a big deal to surpass the other party? What the FK are you talking about? Do you think we really can't beat you? Stop being so self-righteous. Super 4 Vegeta was the first to bear it. A quick leap distances Son Goku. Then he gave a loud drink. Immediately afterwards, 2 hands were placed behind his back. Immediately, powerful energy gathered instantly. The sound of thunder and lightning crackled. Ultimate flash. At this moment, the veins on Vegeta's forehead were throbbing violently. The ultimate flash gathered in his hand blasted out towards Son Goku in the distance. The same is true for another Super Blue Vegeta. Quickly distance yourself. Then, with Super 4 Vegeta, they launched a crazy Kigong bomb against Son Goku. Well done. Come let me try my tenfold Kamehameha wave. Saying that, Son Goku quickly put his hands on his waist again, and then saw the red energy gathering quickly in Son Goku's hands. 10 times. Kamehameha wave. Finally, under the roar of Son Goku, the powerful Kamehameha wave bombarded the 2 powerful energies that hit the face. Boom. At the moment when 3 powerful energies touched together. Seeking flowers. 0. The entire prison planet shook violently. The chains of the sky were completely broken at this moment. As for Vegeta and Son Goku, they were all pushed back a certain distance. However, it was obvious that Son Goku only retreated more than 10 meters before stabilizing his body. But the situation of the 2 Vegetas on the other side is not optimistic. 0. Both of them were pushed back more than 100 meters, and they even slammed into the rock wall behind them to stabilize their bodies. Although it is said to stabilize the body, but their expressions at the moment are extremely embarrassed. Okay, so strong. Is this really a Goku uncle? How can a Goku uncle from another time and space be so powerful? The trunks on the side were a little dumbfounded after seeing this scene. Because of such a powerful force, I am afraid that only my father and Son Goku uncle used the Padara earrings to fit together. To be able to compete with it? Who are you? If you don't make it clear, then don't blame me for being rude. Speaking of Super 4, Son Goku took a step forward and came to the front of Son Goku. If I remember correctly, I should have said it before. I'm not the Son Goku of this time and space, but I did come here as soon as I woke up. As for how I got here, I don't know. Son Goku looked at Super 4 Son Goku and said calmly. Master Sohan reminded himself of these things, so how could Son Goku slip up? I came here as soon as I woke up. Jane's 197 is ridiculous. But since you don't want to say it, then I can only use force. Speaking of Super 4, Son Goku's body flashed towards Son Goku. Like a meteor hammer, the fist quickly hit Son Goku's forehead. But facing such a sudden attack, the expression on Son Goku's face was extraordinarily calm. He smiled and said, since you want to fight, then I will accompany you to the end. After finishing speaking, Son Goku didn't stop talking, and raised his fist directly. Facing the attacking fist of Super 4 Son Goku, he slammed it up. Boom. The moment the fists of the two touched together, powerful energy spread out like a shock wave towards the surroundings. The body of Super 4 Son Goku retreated more than 10 meters in a row, and his feet plowed 2 deep hits on the ground, and finally he stabilized his body. On the other hand, Son Goku on the other side showed a very calm expression, as if he didn't pay attention to the opponent's attack from the beginning to the end. The whole person stood in place, not giving in at all. So strong is also Super Saiyan 4, why is this guy so much stronger than me? Looking at his own numb arm, Super 4 Son Goku was in disbelief. If this guy is just himself in other time and space, then both of them can become Super 4. Strength should be the same. But after the initial confrontation with Super 4 just now, Son Goku found that this guy's Super 4 is much stronger than himself. Even if he teamed up with another Son Goku, he might not be the opponent of this guy. Damn. Kakarot, who is this guy, and how could he be so powerful? Super 4 Vegeta also had a mournful look on his face. However, he is not the opponent's opponent at all. What can be done about this? There is no other way, the only way is to use that trick. Saying that, Son Goku set his sights on Super 4 Vegeta. Call. Kakarot, did you get your brain kicked by a donkey? We already used Padara earrings when we were fighting that evil Saiyan, so we won't be able to fusion earrings anytime soon? Super 4 Vegeta glanced at Son Goku, and said impatiently. However, Kaisisha Liberal Arts seems to have expected the other party to answer like this. Then he said again immediately, of course I know this kind of thing, but it doesn't mean using Padara earrings. Use fusion instead. Super 4 Son Goku looked at Super 4 Vegeta and said. What? Kakarot, you BD, do you know what you're talking about? You actually want me to use that weird 3.0 trick with you? Give up Kakarot, even if I, Vegeta, die, I won't be able to fuse with you if I jump from here. However, although Vegeta was unwilling to accept it, he finally joined the team of Super 4 Son Goku with a red face. Oh, this is the last time, and it's against this BD, otherwise, my son-in-law, King Vegeta, would never use such tricks with you. In the end, Vegeta obediently chose fusion with Son Goku even though he was unwilling to do so. Because Vegeta also wants to use his own strength to defeat the arrogant Son Goku in front of him. Fusion, together. Finally, after the coquettish movement of the two, their bodies immediately turned into a white light, and they fused together. In the end, Super 4 Gogeta appeared in front of everyone. It's actually a fusion technique. It turns out that the two of them can also use this ability. Kale and Son Goku said in surprise. Cut. 27. This kind of trick. I will never use it anyway. Kale and Vegeta folded his arms around his chest, and said with a displeased face. Vegeta is naturally no stranger to the ability of fusion. But for this ability, Vegeta doesn't like it at all. To put on such an embarrassing pose, Vegeta could dig out 3 rooms and 1 living room with his toes? Is it fusion? Gogeta, it really feels like I'm fighting myself. But I won't admit defeat so easily. At this moment, Son Goku raised his neck and said. Although Son Goku knew Gogeta's strength was very strong, but after the battle with several of them just now, Son Goku found himself much stronger than them. It also gave Son Goku confidence. So Son Goku doesn't think he will lose to Gogeta. After all, you must know that you can not only become Super Saiyan 4, but also become Super Saiyan God. You can even integrate the power of Super Saiyan God into Super Saiyan 4, so you will never be defeated. For this point, Son Goku is still very confident in his heart. Big words. Although I have to admit that your strength is indeed very good, but you are absolutely impossible to be my opponent. As he spoke, a smug smile appeared on the corner of Gogeta's mouth. He is very confident in his own strength, so Gogeta thinks that he cannot be defeated no matter what? No matter what happens? Whether you can beat it or not, you will know if you try it. And I can fight with myself, I am very excited. As he spoke, the golden flames from Son Goku spewed out again. And this time Son Goku raised his power to the extreme. He just wanted to see how far he could fight Gogeta with a Super 4 full attack rate. Of course, even if you can't beat the opponent, this will be of great help to yourself. Because every Saiyan can become stronger in battle. Aha! After a roar, Son Goku's body quickly rushed out 170. Then he punched Gogeta hard. Gogeta was also taken aback when he saw Son Goku's extremely fast speed. Then he also stretched out his arm, and then slammed into Son Goku's fist violently. Boom! After the powerful energy collided together, a huge shock wave was formed immediately. After a long time, the fists of the two suddenly separated. However, Son Goku's body involuntarily retreated more than 10 meters away. Super 4 Gogeta on the other side only took half a step back. It can be said that the strength gap between the two can be seen from this simple fist fight. As expected of the combined Gogeta, the strength is really strong. After stabilizing his body, Son Goku still looked at Gogeta with admiring eyes. Because Sohan really feels that Gogeta is very strong. Because I have basically used my full strength just now, and under the effect of Super Saiyan's 4 full attack rate, I didn't get any benefits. Instead, he was knocked back by the opponent's punch, which really made Son Goku feel a little incredible, but my strength is more than that. Saying that, Son Goku quickly put his hands on his waist. Then a powerful energy quickly gathered. 10 times. Kamehameha Wave. With a roar from Son Goku, the final 10 times Kamehameha Wave was knocked out by Son Goku. And at the moment when the 10 times Kamehameha Wave blasted out, Super 4 Gogeta seems to have expected something. Then also used the Big Bang Kamehameha Wave. Boom boom boom. The moment the two energies touched together, a powerful energy swept across the entire prison planet. At the place where the two energies collided, a huge circular pit was blasted out. Boom. And in the end though Son Goku's 10-fold Kamehameha Wave barely held off for a few minutes. But in the end, he was blown away by Gogeta's big explosion Kamehameha Wave. Boom. Son Goku's body flew out like a kite with a broken string. Even in the process, Son Goku's body smashed more than a dozen hills in a row before he finally stabilized his body. But even if he stabilized his body, Son Goku looked extraordinarily embarrassed at this moment. Now let's talk about how you came to this place. Don't tell me that you came to this place as soon as you woke up. I won't believe such lies. Super 4 Gogeta looked at Son Goku and said in a cold tone. Ahem. Son Goku coughed twice and wiped the stains from the corners of his mouth. Then slowly stood up. As expected of Gogeta, the strength is really strong, but my strength is not only that. Speaking of which, a powerful breath of God burst out from Son Goku's body in an instant. This breath is the breath of God. There is nothing wrong with it. It is definitely the breath of God. Kale and Son Goku on the side also widened his eyes after sensing this breath. He didn't expect Son Goku to exude the breath of God. So doesn't it mean that Son Goku, who represents another time and space, also has the ability to become a Super Saiyan God? If this is the case, I am afraid that this battle really needs to continue. At this time, Son Goku roared again. Originally, Super Saiyan's black hair turned blue at this time. And it's the blue color of Super Saiyan God. Not only that, at this moment Son Goku's whole body, Ma Zhao's, aura has undergone tremendous changes. The huge breath of God is overwhelming. Even Son Goku, who was not far away, felt a huge threat at this moment. This guy's control over the breath of God, is it even stronger than us? It's hard to imagine that there will be such a guy in this world. Seeing this scene, Kale and Son Goku couldn't help clenching his fists, and the whole person became tense. Because at this moment, the aura of God emanating from Son Goku actually made Super Blue Son Goku feel a little bit of fear. This guy, what the hell is going on with him? Can he turn into Super Saiyan God while in Super Saiyan state? How can this be possible? The Super Blue Vegeta on the other side also clenched his fist after seeing this scene. There was an expression of disbelief on the whole person's face, because he couldn't believe the scene in front of him. Although Vegeta also tried to become Super Saiyan God on the basis of Super Saiyan, but without exception, all ended in failure. There was even a ray of God's breath pouring into his body once, and Vegeta suddenly felt that the energy of 757 in the whole body seemed to be violently resisting. The two energies repel each other. If it wasn't because I ate the fairy beans stored at home in the end, Vegeta felt that even if he didn't die, he might not be far away from death. That feeling of being ripped apart. Vegeta is still fresh in his memory. At the same time, Gogeta on the other side also had a serious face. The eyes looking at Son Goku changed a lot, and the whole person became serious. Because the power emanating from Son Goku at this moment actually made Gogeta feel an inexplicable sense of oppression. Actually, CHFH, can do this. It seems that you may have some relationship with Fio. Or is Foya somewhere watching our every move right now? As he said that, Gogeta looked into the distance and looked around. But there was no sign of Fio. I don't know any Fio, and I have nothing to do with Fio. Whether you believe it or not, the reality is like this. Son Goku said lightly. Very good. Since you don't want to say it, then I just need to hit you until you say it is right. As he said that, Gogeta's eyes shot a sharp light. Then the body flashed suddenly, turning into a golden light and rushing towards Son Goku. The speed is so fast that even Son Goku and Vegeta in the distance can only see some afterimages. But when Son Goku faced Gogeta, that terrifying speed, his face looked extraordinarily calm. It's as if there is no feeling at all. The corner of his mouth raised slightly. Well done. It looks like you're serious too. If that's the case, then let us two have a good fight. As he spoke, blue flames burst out from Son Goku's body. Then the body also turned into an afterimage, rushing towards Gogeta's direction. And it can be seen that the speed of Son Goku, the four gods of Super Saiyan, is not slower than Gogeta, and even faster. Boom. At the moment when the bodies of the two people hit each other, the ground of the entire prison planet trembled violently. In the end, a crack appeared abruptly. Boom. Powerful energy was released again. Even this time, even Foyo, who had already escaped from the prison planet, Felt this powerful energy? What? This energy, what is going on? Cut. Never mind, this is very valuable research data. As he said that, Fayu immediately drew out his dagger, and then swung a space crack in the air, finally jumped right in. In an instant, it is the battlefield between Son Goku and Gogeta? What? These two guys? Wrong, how come there are three Son Goku? What exactly is going on? Looking at Son Goku who was fighting with Gogeta, Fuyu's eyes widened. Although the two Son Goku will appear together on Prison Planet, it's all Fuyu's work. But three Son Goku appear at the same time. Fuyu was very sure that this third Son Goku was definitely not provoked by himself. Moreover, the energy emitted from his body cannot be judged. This is Son Goku who came here in that time and space. The strength is definitely stronger than Son Goku in the other two time and space. Even the aura on his body is stronger than the aura on the evil Shinkampa that he cultivated so hard. Although I don't know exactly what happened, but no matter what, this is precious battle data. Worth it to come back this time. Saying that, Fuyu became excited all over. At the same time, he hastily picked up the computer and started recording crazily instead. Boom. After countless punches between the two, Super 4 Gogeta and Son Goku were still tied. Even Super 4 Vegeta was overwhelmed by Son Goku. Such a result made Super 4 Gogeta feel particularly uncomfortable. You must know that you are using fusion now, and since you are using fusion, you can't easily defeat your opponent. This made Gogeta feel even more uncomfortable. Hey, how on earth did you master the power of Super 4 and the power of Super Saiyan at the same time? As far as I know, these two energies are diametrically opposed. If you have one of these energies, you can't use the other. So how on earth do you do it? Super 4 Gogeta looked at Son Goku and asked curiously. Exactly. The energies of these stocks really conflict, and they cannot be fused together. But if you have enough strength, you can also do this. Son Goku said with a smile. It seems to have answered the other party's question, but it just said a lot of nonsense. UBD. Super 4 Gogeta clenched his fists in displeasure, but finally chose to give up. Because Gogeta's fusion time is almost over. Since there was no winner in 30 minutes, there would be no result if we continued to fight. At best, it can only be a tie with the opponent. Son Goku thinks that he will never be able to defeat this Son Goku? Seeking Flowers 0. This aura is Fuyu. This guy is back. Just when Gogeta was about to give up the fight with Son Goku, he suddenly felt Fuyu's breath. And Gogeta is very sure that this breath is Fuyu. I will never feel wrong. Sorry, the battle between us may have to end, because that guy is back. 0. After speaking, Gogeta's body suddenly turned to another position. Then without any hesitation, the Big Bang Kamehameha wave was released directly. Boom. Under the power of the Kamehameha wave of the Big Bang, mountains everywhere were razed to the ground in an instant. And Fuyu, who was defenseless, was even more disgraced by this blow. Ahem. Blanche. It was discovered like this, and my information on TM was destroyed by you again. As he spoke, purple energy spewed out from Fuyu's whole body. The terrifying aura erupted from the whole person in an instant. Time Patrol, you asked for it. After speaking, Fuyu raised the dagger in his hand and rushed towards Gogeta Lu. Humph. Fuyu, I was looking for you everywhere, but I didn't expect you to come to my door on my own initiative. Facing the sudden attack of Fuyu, Gogeta didn't take him seriously. The corners of his mouth slightly raised into a provocative smile. Then he turned sideways and easily dodged Fuyu's attack. Haha, Fuyu, I originally thought that your strength should be quite strong. After all, people who can escape many times from my 330 are rare. But now I realize that my guesses were all wrong. Your strength is very average. Gogeta said very confidently about his own strength. After the initial confrontation just now, Gogeta found that the opponent was not his opponent at all, so he also had to take the opponent to heart. Because it is absolutely impossible for him to beat himself, which is deeply ingrained in Gogeta's heart. So Gogeta naturally doesn't take Fuyu seriously. And the reason why this guy was able to escape many times in his hands was entirely because of his weird ability to travel through time and space, so he couldn't arrest this guy immediately. But Gogeta thinks that the same thing will not happen this time, because since this guy has already sent him to his door, it is absolutely impossible for him to let him escape easily. Two stinky monkeys, you must have thought me too weak. Or do you think you can really beat me? Take a good look at your current situation before talking to me, arrogant monkeys, you will never be my opponent. Although Gogeta dodged his own attack, there was no trace of shock on Fuyu's face. Instead, he looked at the other party very confidently, as if he had already eaten the other party into his stomach. What? What do you mean by that? Gogeta was also stunned after hearing Fuyu's words. When he looked at his legs, he realized that at some point, his legs were imprisoned. The thick chain seems to be able to absorb the energy in his body. Even no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't break free. There is such a thing, he is actually absorbing our energy. Gogeta looked at Fuyu not far away with some horror. Because Gogeta knew that this chain was definitely accidentally contaminated when he avoided Fuyu's attack just now. At that time, Gogeta didn't pay attention to the opponent, so he didn't know what the opponent's method was, because they had never really fought against each other from the beginning to the end, so Gogeta didn't know the opponent's attack method and method. What's it like? But I didn't expect this guy's attack method to be so special, releasing a kind of chain, and it is a chain that can absorb energy in his body. Such an attack method is really uncommon. At least when Gajata was fighting with many opponents, he had never encountered such a trick. Haha, it's too late to realize now. 1.4. You two arrogant monkeys are no match for me at all. If it weren't for the need to keep you guys to continue collecting data, I would have hacked you to death right now. As he spoke, Fai raised the dagger in his hand. Then before Fuyu's dagger slashed at Gajata, Gajata suddenly disintegrated at this moment. Become Super 4 Son Goku and Super 4 Vegeta. Oops, the energy has been sucked out. After seeing the combination of the two actually separate at this time, Super 4 Son Goku's face turned pale instantly. Since the other party is not afraid of Gajata's strength, now that the two are separated, it is even more impossible for the other party's opponent. Haha, it turns out that you don't have much energy left. How did you break the combined state so quickly? I thought how long you could last. It seems that I still overestimate you a bit. Time Patrol. Foil looked at Super 4 Son Goku with a sinister smile. Hey 27. You BD, you interrupted our fight, you know that. At this time, Son Goku walked behind Fuyo, and said in a somewhat displeased tone. Originally, I would be able to draw the winner with Super 4 Gajata immediately, but I didn't expect to be messed up by this guy now. Well now Super 4 Son Goku and their combined time can't help but run out, and now even the energy is exhausted. How can I fight them like this? This simply made Son Goku so angry. You, almost forgot, there is another Son Goku here. I'm just curious, where did you come from? You don't seem to be a time-space patrol, so how did you come to this prison planet? Foya looked at Son Goku with narrowed eyes. Foya can clearly feel that this guy does not have the power of time and space, so if the opponent does not have the power of time and space, so how did he come to this time and space? What does this have to do with you? Since the battle of our battle was interrupted, it seems that you want to fight me instead of them. Son Goku is not familiar with the person before him, but Sohan is very familiar with it. So Sohan told Son Goku about Fuya before. And what Son Goku is doing now is completely in accordance with Sohan's request. Haha, interesting. It seems that you are very confident in your own strength. But this is better, I also want to test your strength. To be able to defeat two space-time patrols, I'm a little curious about your energy. Foya narrowed his eyes slightly as he looked at Son Goku, and then an evil smile appeared on his entire face. Curiosity about my energy, this is not a good thing. And my energy might just beat you to the ground. Saying that, Son Goku raised his fist, his face full of confidence. Although Son Goku is also clear, the strength of this guy in front of him is definitely not weak. But it is also because of this that Son Goku is interested in Fuya. Otherwise, Son Goku wouldn't have any interest in this guy at all. After all, Son Goku, who has Saiyan blood, knows very well that these Saiyans can only become stronger when they fight against powerful opponents. So Son Goku, if 560 wants to make himself stronger, he must fight against powerful opponents? Ha ha ha. After a roar, Son Goku immediately clenched his fists. Powerful energy suddenly spewed out from his body. For a moment, Son Goku's entire body was wrapped in the blue flames of Super Saiyan God. And at the moment when the blue energy spewed out, the aura emanating from Son Goku's whole body seems to have undergone an earth-shaking improvement. The whole body revealed endless domineering. If Son Goku had fought Super Saiyan 4's Gajata with such strength from the beginning, then Gajata might have been defeated by him long ago. What a powerful energy. What is going on with this guy? After witnessing the powerful image erupting from Son Goku, at this moment, Fuyu's face showed an expression of astonishment. As Fuyu who possesses the power of time and space, he is naturally no stranger to Super Saiyan 4 and Super Saiyan God. Even these two are his research goals. But there is one thing that Fuyu can't figure out, how these two completely opposite energies are perfectly fused together by this guy. And judging from his current situation, these two strands seem to be in his body without any repulsion at all. It's so shocking, it's actually possible to do this. Haha, you must take this opportunity to do some research. I want to see what secrets this guy has. Speaking of which, Fai raised the dagger in his hand and was about to attack Son Goku. Call out. The volley cut out with a knife. Then a purple blade of light struck Son Goku's face. But Son Goku seemed to have expected it a long time ago, and just turned sideways to avoid the attacking light blade. Then the body moves forward quickly. Blast out with a punch. Don't give Foya any chance to react at all. The speed, it's amazing how much it has increased. After Foya blocked Son Goku's fist with his hands crossed, an excited expression appeared on his whole face. What he is excited about is not Son Goku's powerful power, but that he has finally found a better research target. If I fully understand the Son Goku in front of me, then I will definitely be able to cultivate more strong people in the future. Fusion between the power of God and breath. It's amazing. You BD, you actually look at me with such eyes. That's very rude. Saying that, Son Goku put his hands on his waist quickly, and the red energy quickly gathered. Then a red energy bomb was formed directly. 10 times. Kamehameha wave. With a roar from Son Goku, the tenfold Kamehameha wave struck like a broken bamboo. However, 1 second before touching Fuyu's body, Fuyu used his space ability to dodge him. GG. How could I be defeated by my own experimental target? Son Goku, although I don't know how you got here, but since you've already come here, I can't let you go easily. As he spoke, Fio licked his dry lips. A nasty smile appeared. This guy, he's so strong Yongran, even me in another time and space can't hurt him. At this time, Kale and Son Goku also had an unbelievable expression on his face, because he didn't expect such a thing to happen. All of them have seen how strong the self in another time and space is just now. Even Gogeta, who is in the Super 4 state, cannot defeat himself in another time and space. But now facing this evil guy, it is actually impossible to injure him. This makes Son Goku and others feel extraordinarily incredible. Experiment target. What are you kidding? Good money, is not the target of your experiment. Saying that, Son Goku's body rushed over again. Blast out with a punch. But in the end, Fio blocked it with his palm very easily. Then even though Son Goku launched another stormy attack, it still couldn't hurt Fio at all. Okay, it's time to end. Since you guys are being dishonest, then I can only treat you like Kempa. Saying that, Fio's eyes shot out a purple light. And at the moment when the purple light shot out, Fio's aura raised another level. An extremely terrifying energy was released from the whole person. Fio, this guy, his strength is so powerful. Super 4 Son Goku's face is very ugly. No matter how strong Son Goku's eyesight is in Super 4, he and Vegeta will definitely be able to defeat the opponent after they are combined. But now Super 4 Son Goku realizes that he was wrong, and it's so wrong. Faced with such a powerful strength, even if he merged with Vegeta, it would be useless. It is impossible to be Fio's opponent at all. Goku uncle, do you want to find a way to help Goku uncle in another time and space? At this time, Trunks took the initiative to speak. Because at this moment, 213 Trunks also found that Fio's strength was too outrageous, and the strength of Goku uncle in another time and space was already very strong. But even so, the Goku uncle from another time and space is still like a child in front of Fio, unable to make any waves at all. I don't know now either. Son Goku clenched his teeth, and his whole body became extremely flustered. How could he not want to help another Son Goku? But Son Goku knew he didn't have that ability. If I have that ability, why would I just watch here? He had long wanted to rush forward to help himself in another time and space. But there is no way, the strength is too great. Even if I rush forward rashly, I can't help Son Goku in another time and space, and may even become a burden. Damn. Vegeta, why don't we use fusion to combine? Although this may not be able to defeat that guy, it should be able to delay the time. At this moment, Son Goku looked at Ultra Blue Vegeta. Now they have no better way, so now it can only be like this. But Kale and Son Goku knew that Kale and Vegeta would never agree to use fusion under normal circumstances. Because Ultra Blue Vegeta really hates using that tenderloin. But this is also normal. After all, Chabe, the movements of the fusion technique are indeed a bit too weird. So this is also impossible. Damn it. Come on Kakarot. Although I am reluctant, there is no other better way now. At this time Vegeta directly agreed. Because Vegeta also knew in his heart that there really was no other better way now. If he wanted to defeat Fuyo, he might have to use the fusion technique. Although they also know in their hearts that even if they use fusion, they may not be opponents. But now they have to. Vegeta. After hearing that Vegeta agreed without hesitation, Kale and Son Goku was a little stunned immediately. Because he didn't expect Vegeta to agree so thoroughly at this time. It still took him by surprise. But Son Goku didn't continue to be hypocritical, and immediately used the fusion technique with Vegeta. Because they know it's the only way now. Then under the coquettish steps of the two, the bodies of the two finally fused together. Transformed into a brand new warrior, Ultra Blue Gogeta. Great, Dad, and Goku Uncle fusion. This way we can help Goku Uncle in another time and space. After seeing his father Vegeta and Son Goku fusion, Trunks had a look of joy on his face. Although he also knows that even this may not be able to defeat Fuya. But at least they can help Son Goku in another time and space. It's better than watching and doing nothing. Don't worry about Trunks, leave the rest to me. You and Xiao Wu, hide in a safe place. Super Blue Gogeta looked at Trunks and said, I see. Trunks didn't show any hypocrisy either, and directly took Xiao Wu to hide in a faraway, safe place. Although Trunks also wants to contribute his own strength, but the same Trunks is very clear in his heart. Own strength is too weak. In such a fighting situation, he has no chance to intervene at all. So even if he stays there, it is useless, and it may become a burden in the end. Trunks naturally don't want to see such a thing. Damn, we've run out of fits, now we're just here to see this. Super 4 Son Goku clenched his fists a little depressed. Although he wanted to go up and help, Super 4 Son Goku knew very well. Even if I rush to help with my current strength, nothing can be changed. It may even become a burden. So they naturally don't want to see such a thing happen. The only thing that can be done now is to watch here. As for other things, they can't do anything now. GG. Do you think you can defeat me after merging? It's just wishful thinking. You will never know how big the gap is between us before, and if I didn't want to study your data, do you think you can live until now? Seeing the arrival of Kale and Gogeta, there was no panic on Fuyu's face. Instead, he was as calm as ever. It's as if he didn't pay attention to these two guys in front of him at all. They are not even their opponents at all. Cut. Stop being arrogant. Although Fuyu doesn't know what's going on with you, we will never lose to you. Seeking flowers. 0. Super Blue Gogeta naturally refused to admit defeat. So now even though he is facing the threat of Fuyo, there is still no panic on his face. Haha, I have to say that you are really confident, but soon I will destroy all your confidence. -0. Let you know what the real terrorist power is. A cold smile appeared on Fuyo's face as he spoke. However, at this moment, Fuyo's whole body flashed past as quickly as a purple lightning bolt. Call out. A Setsuna room appeared in front of Kale and Gogeta. Boom. Blast out with a punch. Don't give Gogeta any chance to react at all. Fuyo's fist was already deep in Ultra Blue Gogeta's belly. What? So fast. Gogeta played counter without any defenses, and then his whole body was sent flying by the power of this punch. Even at the moment when he was knocked into the air, Gogeta's face was full of unbelievable expressions and, what? This guy, Fuyo, actually defeated Kale and Gogeta with a single punch. After seeing this scene, Super 4 Son Goku couldn't sit still. Although he knows that even in the face of Super 4 Gogeta, Fuyo will not be afraid, and can even easily defeat the opponent. But he never thought that Gogeta would lose so quickly, and it was defeated by the opponent almost in an instant. How is this possible? This guy, 5'10". After seeing this scene, Son Goku on the side was also stunned. He didn't expect how powerful this guy Fuyo is. If the opponent is really so strong, then it is impossible for him to defeat the opponent? But even so, Son Goku is still not worried. Because Son Goku believes that as long as Master Sohan is there will be no problem. Although this guy's strength is very strong, it is absolutely impossible for him to be stronger than Master Sohan. So the final victory must still belong to them? No matter how powerful the other party is, it is impossible for him to surpass his Master Sohan. Regarding this point, Son Goku never doubted it in his heart. Because in Son Goku's heart, I know very well how powerful my Master Sohan is. Even in the face of the combined attack of 6 gods of destruction, he can calmly deal with it. Even in the face of grand priests who are stronger than them, they can fight 12, so there is nothing that their masters cannot solve. So he had nothing to worry about at all. Just do what you're supposed to do well. You don't seem to be worried at all. Aren't you afraid that I will kill you directly in the next second? Fuyo is naturally very confident in his own strength. He thinks that the Son Goku in front of him is extremely abnormal in strength. But it is absolutely impossible to cause any waves in his own hands, and the final result must still be severely defeated by himself. There is no suspense at all. After all, he has his own strength, so he has absolute confidence. Because if it is because these guys still have research value and can provide themselves with the data needed for research, the current Fu can kill them all very easily. There is nothing to worry about. I admit that your strength is indeed beyond my imagination and is indeed very powerful, but you must not think too much of yourself. There are people beyond others, and there is a sky beyond the sky. Your strength is very strong, but there will definitely be someone more powerful than you. Although that person may not be me, there will definitely be someone who will defeat you. So I don't have anything to worry about at all, Son Goku said very frankly. And at this moment, Son Goku's expression did not reveal the slightest fear or worry. Just like the guy in front of me, although he is very powerful, but he has enough cards to defeat him, so naturally there is no need to worry. Can someone beat me? I really don't know what to say about you. Say you're a fool, but it doesn't look like that. But if you're a smart person, it doesn't seem like you're smart. How about this? You obediently tell me the secret of how you fuse the power of God with your own breath, and I may consider to spare your life. But if you don't cooperate obediently, then I can only say sorry to you on 5.9. After finishing speaking, Fuyo licked his dry lips with his tongue. For a moment, the whole person looked a little evil. Want to know the way of God's breath and breath fusion? I think there are some problems in your mind. Do you think I will tell you such an important thing easily? I really don't know what's in your guy's head. Faced with Fuyu's threat, Son Goku responded directly. What did you say, Son Goku? I see you are determined to court death. But don't worry, I won't kill you directly. I will find out the secret from your body, and then kill you. Because this thing has very important research significance for me, so I won't kill you directly. I will definitely find out the reason of this thing. Being able to fuse the breath of God with the breath is not something that everyone can do. I am really more and more interested in you. Just after Fuyo finished speaking, an evil smile appeared on his whole face, and then he immediately drew out his dagger. Obviously, Fuyo planned to launch an attack on Son Goku in the next moment. However, because Son Goku has a certain research purpose, Fuyo will not kill him directly. At the very least, he will never kill Son Goku directly before his research purpose is achieved, because if his research purpose is not achieved and he directly kills the other party, then his own research will probably stop there. Such a result was naturally not what Fuyo wanted to see, so he won't do it. Come on, I also want to fight and fight with a strong man like you. Maybe after this battle between us goes on, my strength will be greatly improved. By that time, perhaps my strength has become very strong. After finishing speaking, Son Goku put on a fighting look. Since the other party wants to fight, then I will pay the other party to fight. After the fight is over, the fight has many benefits for me. Because I have the relationship of Saiyan fighting blood, my strength can be continuously improved in the process of doing it, and if I want to improve my strength quickly, I can only improve my strength by fighting those powerful enemies. Gradually grow stronger during the battle. So it can be said that everything mentioned here has a causal relationship. To become stronger, you need to find stronger people, and fight with stronger people to make yourself stronger. I really don't know how to live or die. If this is the case, then I will take you to my research base, put you in the cultivation nest, and study it carefully. After finishing, Fuyo planned to attack Son Goku, and then his body flashed into a purple lightning in an instant. The speed was completely undetectable. In just a blink of an eye, he had already appeared in front of Son Goku, and he punched Son Goku in the face with a fierce punch. Just when everyone thought it was over, a figure suddenly appeared in front of Son Goku, and blocked Fuyo's punch with a palm. And not only that, this figure not only blocked Fuyo's fist, but also pushed Fuyo back several steps. How did this happen? Who the hell is this guy and why did he suddenly appear in this place? And this guy can actually defend against Fuyo's attack, which is too terrifying. Trunks on the side widened their eyes after seeing this scene. He couldn't believe that such a guy actually existed in these 093 worlds. It's just unbelievable. He had never thought that such a powerful guy existed in this world, because the powerful power shown by Fuyo just now made him a little dumbfounded. And now the strength of this mysterious person who suddenly appeared made Trunks doubt the world even more. What? Who the hell are you guys? How did you come to this place? Could it be that Son Goku came to this place with you? Fuyo also looked at Sohan in shock. It wasn't just Sohan who was shocked, it was this guy who showed more strength now, and he also mastered the power of time and space. I don't think I need to answer this question for you. Sohan looked at Fuyo with a smile on the corner of his mouth. It seems that I still worry too much. Although the strength shown by Fuyo is very strong, it still cannot be compared with himself. There is no dispute about this. Sohan could tell from the initial fight just now. Fuyo's strength is very strong, but at best he can only reach Angel's level. It is obviously impossible to reach beyond the Grand Priest. You BD, don't tell me you have mastered the power of time and space. How can that be? Seeing Sohan's contemptuous expression, Fuyo immediately became angry. I have always put on such an expression to others. I never thought that someone would make such an expression on myself now. This just made Fuyo so angry. Brush. Immediately, Fuyo immediately drew out his dagger. Then it was about to cut off Sohan's body. But in the end, when the end was only 2 centimeters away from Sohan's body avoided Fuyo's attack like a ghost. And there was a smug smile on Sohan's face from the beginning to the end. It was as if Fuyo had never been taken seriously. So strong. Who is this guy? Is he actually stronger than Fuyo? After seeing this scene, Super 4 Son Goku on the ground was shocked and speechless. Originally thought that Fuyo's strength was so strong that it exploded. But what I didn't expect was that this guy who suddenly appeared was actually stronger than Fuyo. Even Fuyo was powerless in his hands. And not only that, from the confident expression of the other party, it can be seen that he doesn't seem to take it seriously at all. Terrifying, what a terrifying strength. Super 4 Vegeta was also shocked with cold sweat on his forehead. The excitement in my heart is indescribable. BD, you actually know the ability of Angel. Could it be that you are Angel? Fuyo can only see how powerful Angel is, so he can tell at a glance that the ability Sohan uses is Angel's Ultra Instinct. Haha, I don't know how to say hello. In your eyesight, only Angel can grasp the 5th of Angel. It's ridiculous, thanks to the fact that you are still studying this and that, you can't even figure out how simple a problem is. Sohan glanced at Fuyo coldly, and said in a light tone, BD, it really is the power of Angel. How did you do it? Ultra Instinct. You definitely can't master this kind of thing. Fuyo looked at Sohan with a depressed face, feeling extremely aggrieved in his heart. She was actually underestimated by others, which made her very upset. You even know Ultra Instinct. It seems that your identity is really interesting. Sohan still said in a flat tone. But I know you won't say it yourself, but it doesn't matter, then I will use your way to deal with you. The corners of Sohan's mouth raised slightly as he spoke. Then the body flashed, and Shun, Zhao Lihao, appeared in front of Fuyo. Then he punched Fuyo hard in the stomach. Under the power of Sohan's punch, Fuyo's whole body flew upside down in an instant. The body sank to the ground in an instant. Then at this time Sohan's body slowly fell to the ground. Fuyo, let's talk about your affairs now. What exactly are you researching, and what is your purpose for doing this? Sohan looked at Fuyo and said in a flat tone. Ahem. Do you think I will tell you easily about such a thing? Haha. I admit that your strength is indeed very strong, but you are not strong enough to scare me, so it is absolutely impossible for me to submit like this. This time I admit defeat, but next time I will get stronger power to deal with you. Just wait for me. Saying that, Fu quickly mobilized the power of space, and then disappeared in front of everyone. In fact, Sohan was fully capable of intercepting Fuyo's escape, but Sohan did not do so, because Sohan didn't think that was necessary at all. Fuyo still has a lot of secrets in this guy, so there is no need to kill him for the time being. And before he left, Fuyo also said that when he appeared next time, he would get 077 more powerful power, and for this more powerful power, Sohan was naturally interested. Master Sohan, are you okay? Wow, this guy is too cunning, he escaped so quickly if he couldn't beat him. At this time, Son Goku also hurriedly followed. It's okay, I'm sure we'll meet him again, so there shouldn't be any major problems. Sohan said lightly. But at this moment, Super Blue Son Goku and Super 4 Son Goku and others on the other side were fried. What? Master? This powerful guy is actually my master, CHCG, in another time and space. Everyone's eyes widened when they heard Son Goku call Sohan master. But after they thought about it for a while, they found that everything was so reasonable. Yes, this mysterious person is very strong, and Son Goku as his apprentice is stronger than their Son Goku, so there seems to be nothing unreasonable. Hey, that's right everyone. This is Mr. Sohan, who is also my master. My master is very strong. Facing the hot discussion of the crowd, Son Goku scratched his head and explained. But at this moment, Super 4 Son Goku suddenly came over. Frowning slightly, he looked at Sohan and said, "Sir, I have something to ask you." Super 4 Son Goku's face was a bit dignified, but his tone was extraordinarily polite. "You say?" Looking at Super 4 Son Goku, Soke nodded and said, "Why did you come to this time and space? Do you master the power of time and space?" Son Goku looked at Sohan, and his expression became more solemn at this time. But Son Goku believes that the self in another time and space is definitely not a bad person, so as the master of another time and space, he must not be so bad. Actually, I also stumbled into this place by mistake. As for the power of time and space, I may have actually mastered a part of it. Sohan said lightly. Then he immediately took out his scythe of the void. A space crack was torn directly in the distance. Sohan did not reveal the power of time and space obtained from the system before, because Sohan is not very clear about this time and space, and it would definitely be unwise to reveal his strength too early. That's why Sohan will use this method to pierce the space-time channel. It's actually a torn space. Is there really someone who can do it? At this time, Super 4 Vegeta also walked over with a look of surprise. The expression on the whole person's face was extraordinarily shocked. As Time Patrol officers, they naturally have a certain understanding of the power of time and space. But if you want to tear apart the space with every move, I'm afraid it's really not something that ordinary people can do. Don't be so shocked. If you see Mr. Sohan's full strength, I believe you will be even more shocked. When I saw the shocked expression on Super 4 Son Goku's face, Son Goku beside Sohan just smiled and spoke. Because he had seen Sohan at full strength. So for such a thing, he has long been familiar with it. Moreover, Son Goku has seen things like tearing space too much, so he has long been accustomed to such things, and there is no big deal at all. Even for my own master, this kind of thing can be done with ordinary gestures, so even if the real tearing space is now, there is nothing unreasonable. What did you say? After hearing Son Goku's words, Super 4 Son Goku was stunned. He has never thought that such a thing exists in the world. Because in their eyes, they are now very powerful in Super Saiyan 4, even if it is not enough to deal with all enemies, but as long as they combine with Vegeta, they can deal with most of the enemies, but now they did not expect that it would become be like this. The strength that he is proud of is completely insignificant in front of others, and he even feels that he can easily defeat him in a flash. This sense of frustration is really overwhelming. Actually, I don't think you need to be so depressed. Because this is indeed not a big deal, I am stronger than you, this is nothing more than a normal thing. Although I don't know what kind of situation your time and space is in now, but I believe that you should have some contact with some gods. At least you guys should know gods of destruction Beerus or Angel Whis or something. Looking at the shocked Super Saiyan 4 Son Goku at this moment, Sohan spoke again. After hearing Sohan's words, the servants below did not show much shock this time, but nodded slowly. We do know Master Beerus and Mr. Whis. Could it be that Mr. Sohan also knows Master Beerus? Son Goku looked at Sohan suspiciously. He hoped to find out the details of this guy. In this way, the next work can continue. Ask for flowers. Because Son Goku thinks it's impossible to catch Fuyo with his and Vegeta's strength. So what they can do now is to pin their hopes on this guy in front of them, because Super Saiyan is a biological control, and it can be seen that this guy in front of him definitely has the strength to grasp Fuyo. Point 0. And just now, if it wasn't for this guy deliberately letting go of Fuyo, it is estimated that it would be absolutely impossible for Fuyo to escape in his hands. After all, this guy has the ability to tear space. So it is not difficult to catch Fuyo. It's natural. Because in my time and space, my responsibility is to supervise the work of the gods of destruction and the gods in the 12 universes. After finishing speaking, a faint smile appeared on the corner of Sohan's mouth. Invisibly pretended to be a coward. Of course, saying it is pretend is actually telling the truth. After all, that's what my job is. Overseeing the work of the 12 gods of destruction and all beings, such is his role as the temple enforcer. What? After hearing Sohan's appalling words, everyone present, except for Son Goku who was in the same time and space as Sohan, basically showed shocked, speechless expressions. They couldn't believe what the guy in front of them said. Know who gods of destruction Beerus is. This is the existence of the ceiling level of the entire 7th universe. Anyone who wants to destroy can be destroyed 183, and basically will not be restrained by anyone. This is also their right as gods of destruction. And that's not the only thing that makes them powerful. What makes them powerful is their terrifying combat power, and their combat power is the most powerful existence in every universe. And the guy in front of him actually said that his duty is to supervise the work of the 12 gods of destruction, or even the work of all the gods in the 12 universes. I am afraid that few people will believe this kind of words. After all, this kind of thing is too appalling. No one believed it, and it was also very true. There is a problem if someone believes it. Mr. Sohan, are you really not joking? Super Saiyan 4, Son Goku looked at Sohan with a horrified expression. He couldn't believe this kind of thing at all, because in his eyes, Lord Gods of Destruction Beerus was already the most powerful existence. But how could a god more powerful than Lord Gods of Destruction Beerus suddenly appear? And this guy is even more than a tiny bit stronger than Lord Gods of Destruction Beerus. Even so powerful that he couldn't believe it. This simply made him unbelievable. Oversee the work of 12 gods of destruction. A god of this level. Son Goku feels a little shivering when he thinks about it. He, I know you won't believe it so easily. But I don't need to prove anything to you. Because yes is no, I don't need to lie in front of you about this kind of thing. My identity is the Temple Law Enforcement Officer, and my divine right is above all the gods in the 12 universes. All the gods you can touch are basically my subordinates. At this time Sohan spoke again. However, it is very understandable for you not to believe it. After all, with your current strength, it is impossible to get in touch with a god of this level. After your strength becomes stronger in the future, I believe that you should come into contact with gods of that level. But it's a pity, I'm afraid you can't get in touch now. At this moment, Sohan spoke with some regret. But no matter what he said, everyone present looked at Sohan with suspicion. Obviously such a statement is convincing. Because this kind of thing is too appalling. A single Gods of Destruction Beerus can easily destroy a lot of things, but how powerful is this super god who surpasses 12 gods of destruction? I am afraid that those who have not seen him make a move do not have this concept. 4.3. Master Sohan is really not lying. You have never seen him make a move. After you have seen him make a move, you should understand. At our time, no matter if it was Master Beerus or others, when they saw Master Sohan, they all had to kneel on the ground respectfully. At this moment, Son Goku delivered another blow. Directly let everyone present petrify on the spot. Gods of destruction will kneel when you see it. What kind of existence is this? After hearing Son Goku's words, everyone's eyes widened. Because they couldn't believe that the scene in front of them was real, and in the hearts of all of them, Lord Gods of Destruction Beerus was the leader of the crowd. Power enough to destroy all existence. It was really hard for them to comprehend how gods of destruction knelt at the feet of this mysterious man in front of them. What kind of existence gods of destruction is in their eyes, each of them is very clear in their hearts. So they dare not question the power of gods of destruction at all, and it's not like they haven't fought gods of destruction before. 27 The results without exception are all crushed existences, because gods of destruction has a very special ability. That is the power of destruction, which can destroy everything with ease. And even gods of destruction, without using the power of destruction, they are still not the opponents of gods of destruction. If the gods of destruction used their destructive force directly, they would have no power to fight back. Everyone knew this very well, and they didn't dare to question it. Mr. Sohan, is not that we don't want to believe what you said, but what you said is indeed a bit appalling. After all, in this universe of ours, the gods of destruction are all existences at the ceiling level of the 5 continents, and we have never come into contact with the gods of destruction of other universes, so in our eyes, the gods of destruction must not be adults. That is absolute, no one can surpass him, let alone someone who can make him kneel at his feet. Son Goku, who looks like a Super Saiyan, naturally couldn't believe what Sohan said. After all, it was indeed a bit too shocking, at least he couldn't just believe it. Although the strength shown by Sohan just now is indeed very strong, but Son Goku in Chaozhong does not think that this guy's strength can surpass gods of destruction. To know gods of destruction, that is the existence of the ceiling level of universe. And mastering the power of destruction, you can easily destroy anything, no matter how powerful you are. As long as the other party is willing to destroy you, they can completely destroy you among light customers. Faced with such a completely invincible opponent, how can you let him kneel at your feet? Anyway, Son Goku of Super Saiyan 4 would never believe it. Yes, I thought so too. Master Beerus, he is the most powerful existence we have ever seen, how can you make him kneel at your feet? I will never believe this easily. Of course, unless you can also use the same destructive power, otherwise you will never be the opponent of Lord Beerus. At this time, Kale and Vegeta also stood up and said. He disagreed with what Sohan said and what Son Goku said just now. How could this be possible, even if the strength of this 733 group is very strong? He was so strong that he could rival gods of destruction, but they would never agree or believe in such a thing if they wanted gods of destruction to kneel at his feet obediently. Because it's not like he hasn't fought gods of destruction. He also fought against gods of destruction, but he was easily instantly killed by his opponent within a few minutes of fighting. Even with a single thought, he would be easily defeated by the opponent. Faced with such a gap in strength, Betaida respected gods of destruction Beerus even more. And the guy in front of him dared to say that gods of destruction Beerus would kneel at his feet when he saw him. How could he believe it? I think Vegeta is right this time. Master Beerus is indeed very powerful, although I also think that there must be someone stronger than Master Beerus in this world. But such an existence must be able to use the power of destruction, or the energy stronger than the power of destruction, otherwise, how could it be the opponent of Master Beerus? At this time, Kale and Son Goku also spoke. Although Super Blue Son Goku has just seen Sohan's powerful strength, he thinks that what the other party said may not be a lie, but in any case, it is absolutely impossible for him to easily believe such a thing. After all, the matter of being defeated by Lord Beerus with one move is still in Son Goku's heart. so he would never believe such a thing easily. How could anyone be stronger than Lord Beerus? Haha. In this way, as long as I can point out the power of destruction, you will be able to trust my identity. After hearing the discussion of the group of guys in front of him, a smile appeared on the corner of Sohan's mouth, which is really interesting. That's right, as long as you can use the power of destruction, then we will believe your identity. After all, if both of you can use the power of destruction, then pay attention to prove that your strength is definitely not inferior to Lord Gods of Destruction Beerus. And Master Beerus told us before that the power of destruction can only be mastered by gods of destruction and candidates for gods of destruction. So if you can do something like destruction, it means that your identity is likely to be a gods of destruction, so we have no reason not to believe what you say. At this time, Super Saiyan 4 Son Goku spoke again. Because Lord Beerus told me before that if he wants to become gods of destruction, he must master the power of destruction. And the power of destruction must never be passed on. Only gods of destruction and candidates for gods of destruction can use and learn. It is impossible for other people to learn this thing, so this is also Super Saiyan, which is why Son Goku believes so strongly. Okay, since you all said that, let me show you my destructive power. Although my grasp of the power of destruction may not be as proficient as Beerus, but simply using the power of destruction is still a breeze for me. After finishing speaking, a smug smile appeared on the corner of Sohan's mouth, and then raised his arms to the sky. A purple energy quickly gathered in his palm. And this purple energy will grow bigger, and finally directly become a powerful energy ball with a diameter of 3 meters. Not only that, this energy ball contained endless destructive power. Even Son Goku in the distance couldn't help opening their mouths wide after feeling this powerful destructive power. They can feel very clearly that this energy is definitely the power of destruction, because they have seen this energy, Li Hao, before, so it is absolutely impossible to misunderstand it. You all have shown me clearly, now I want to let you have a good experience of my destructive power. After finishing speaking, so directly through the destructive power he had gathered into the distance, I saw a very huge mountain in the distance disappeared instantly after touching the huge destructive energy, and then a very terrifying deep ditch was even blown out on the ground. Super 4 Son Goku, this is really a force of destruction. Ultra Blue Son Goku, we read this right, this is indeed the power of destruction. Super Blue Vegeta, Mr. Sohan can really use the power of destruction. AFK. All the people present were shocked for a while. They couldn't believe that the scene in front of them was actually real. They all know very well that destroying self-care is not something that anyone can master and use, but this guy in front of him can actually use this trick. That is enough to prove that he really has an inextricable relationship with gods of destruction, and even as he said, I would kneel at gods of destruction's feet when I saw him. I said don't make such a fuss, okay. 667 This is not a big deal in itself, these powers are only 1/1000 of Master Sohan's. When you have seen Master Sohan's full power, I believe your expressions will not look like this now. At this moment, Son Goku who was beside Sohan spoke up, and he had no doubts about Sohan's strength. After all, among all the people present, only he had seen it with his own eyes. I'm sorry, Mr. Sohan, we were a little abrupt before, but your strength is indeed a bit unbelievably strong for us, but now we have believed in your strength. You are very powerful indeed. Super Saiyan 4, Son Goku, said with some embarrassment. Obviously, I was the one who raised doubts about the other party before, but now I am the first to stand up and admit that the other party's identity is indeed a bit of a slap in the face. It doesn't matter, after all, you are seeing me for the first time, so it is very normal to not believe in my strength and my identity, there is nothing wrong with it. And I think you're quite right in what you're doing. Sohan looked at the other party and said in a flat tone. The guy in front of him doesn't know how strong his own strength is, so it's very normal that he can't believe his own strength and his identity for a while, and it's not a big deal. It's just that Mr. Sohan, I still have one thing I don't understand. I hope you can help me explain it. Shpa, if I guess correctly, you should be a Saiyan. But as a Saiyan, why can your strength reach such a terrifying level? Super Saiyan 4 Son Goku naturally noticed the tail behind Sohan. This thing is the symbol of their Saiyan, so it is absolutely impossible for Son Goku not to recognize it. He noticed this thing immediately. As long as the opponent has the symbol of Saiyan, it is enough to prove that this guy is definitely a member of their Saiyan. This is not controversial at all. This guy is definitely one of them. His identity must be a member of Saiyan, and I will never guess wrong about this. You are right, I am indeed Saiyan, but I am a little different from you. Similarly, I can only answer you so much, as for other things, I can't answer you. However, if you want me to train you to become stronger, I can consider this. After all, we are all Saiyan. As long as you become stronger, there is no harm to me. It is also a very good thing to improve the strength of our Saiyan. Similarly, Son Goku from another time and space beside me is my apprentice, and how powerful he is, I believe you should be clearer than me in your heart. 17. Sohan looked at Super 4 Son Goku and said in a flat tone. Is everything you said true, Mr. Sohan? Are you really willing to teach me how to practice? Super 4 Son Goku said in disbelief. You must know that you didn't believe in the other party's identity at all just now, and even questioned the other party's identity. Now the other party not only doesn't care about your previous mistakes, but is also willing to give advice on your own cultivation. Logically speaking, the other party should know government affairs and even dislike him, but I didn't expect the other party to be so generous, regardless of previous suspicions. Instead, he is willing to give advice on his own cultivation, which really makes Super Force Son Goku so cool. He thought he couldn't do it. Although don't worry, this is naturally no problem. As for what happened just now, you don't have to worry about it, because it doesn't seem like a big deal to me. You doubt my identity and don't believe me, that's normal. If you believe my identity from the beginning, it's a big problem. Sohan spoke in a very flat tone. For Sohan, he is idle now anyway, and there is nothing else he can do. Why don't you point out their cultivation, maybe let them play with you, or see other changes in them? Even a set of tricks has emerged in Sohan's mind. If you make Son Goku and Son Goku fit together, let Vegeta and Vegeta fit together. What will happen if they finally merge together? Sohan has been curious for a long time. Maybe this time he really has a chance to make it happen. After all, there are 3 Son Gokus and 2 Vegetas here, so nothing is impossible. In addition, if you are willing to be taught by me, you can also practice with me for a period of time, because I don't plan to leave this time and space for the time being. On the contrary, after I leave here, I will also visit the gods of destruction Beerus of the 7th universe. Sohan still looked at everyone present with a flat tone. Gilo. Hearing Sohan's great manner, everyone present couldn't help but cover their mouths. You must know that being trained by such a powerful fighter is a very useful thing. At the very least, it can raise their strength to another level. It is even possible that their strength can be greatly improved. And another time-space Son Goku, this is the best example. He can fight against their combined appearance with only one person's strength, and he has not lost, which is enough to prove. Ask for flowers. Being taught by Sohan has many benefits. I do. Super 4 Son Goku was the first to say yes. Because for such a good thing, Super 4 Son Goku electronics is not as good as a reason to refuse. And their mission is to capture Fuyu. But now they can let go of this task temporarily. After what happened just now, they also discovered that the combined strength of the 2 of them cannot be Fuyu's opponent, so even if they were arrested in the past, Fuyu would eventually the result is definitely defeated by Fuyu. They are not opponents of Fuyu at all, so there is no need to go to ask for trouble. It's better to practice here with Mr. Sohan for a period of time, and wait until their strength improves to the point where they can catch up with Fuyu, and then go to that guy to settle accounts. Maybe at that time, I can use my own strength to go. It is not certain that he has defeated Fuyu. After all, as long as they have absolute strength, they will definitely be able to catch Fuyu, because they themselves have a certain ability of actual control. Not only Super 4 Son Goku agreed, but even Super Blue Son Goku and Vegeta, all agreed in one go, because they feel that there is really no reason to refuse. If you let the other party guide their cultivation, then they will have a huge improvement in their hands. This will be of great help to all of them. After all, no one wants their strength to be surpassed by other human 547. They all hope that their strength will surpass many people and become the strongest one, so now that there is a way to improve their strength, which is in front of their eyes, how could they refuse like this? This will never happen matter. If there is no way to quickly improve their strength, they will accept such things in the future. But now, the method in front of them can quickly improve their own strength. How could they refuse? After all, Son Goku from another time and space is a good example. The strength of Son Goku in another time and space is very powerful, and he has already defeated Gogeta of Super Saiyan 4 with his own strength. This is enough to prove how strong he is. And it's not just Son Goku from another time and space who is powerful. Even Mr. Sohan is an outrageously powerful existence, not only powerful, but also able to use the power of destruction, which is even more perverted. Being able to use the power of destruction, it is completely impossible to look at each other with the previous eyes. Because they have such a mind to control real estate, they can easily destroy anything in this world, and even wipe out everyone present in a single thought. That's why they are willing to let Sohan know about their cultivation. Everyone maintains a respectful attitude towards the strong, and all of them are like this. It seems that you are all very eager to get strong power to make your own strength stronger. But this still needs to be done slowly. Although I can guide your cultivation, I can't improve your strength instantly. Sohan looked at everyone present and said calmly, Mr. Sohan wonders if you can make me a Super Saiyan God. Super 4 Son Goku spoke first and said, because in his time and space, all their Saiyans can only become Super Saiyans, not Super Saiyan Gods. Although the power of Super Saiyan 4 he has now is no big deal compared to Super Saiyan God, it is even stronger than Super Saiyan God. But this doesn't mean that he doesn't want to obtain the power of Super Saiyan God. As long as it is a way to make his strength stronger, he naturally hopes that he can master it. What's more, Super 4 Son Goku also discovered a problem, that is, Super Saiyan God has a 2.6 stronger recovery ability than Super Saiyan 4. The divine aura they possess seems to be able to mobilize the surrounding spiritual aura, then repair those damaged places on their bodies, so that they can last longer during the battle. It can be said that if they can master such abilities, no matter whether they become Super Saiyan God or not, this will bring them great help in the process of fighting. So you wanted to become a Super Saiyan God. Actually, this is not a difficult thing, at least it should be considered a breeze for me. Sohan spoke very confidently. Because for such a thing, he is naturally very confident. After all, the way to become a Super Saiyan God only needs 5 Saiyans with a heart of justice, and then inject the heart power into another Saiyan's body. You can turn this Saiyan into a Super Saiyan God. This kind of thing Sohan has tried many times, whether it is Son Goku or Vegeta, they are all transformed into Super Saiyan in this way, so it is not a big deal for this problem at all. This is why 27 Sohan is so confident. After all, I have already succeeded so many times, so if I use it twice, I will definitely not fail. This Sohan is very confident. Mr. Sohan, is everything you said true? Can I really become a Super Saiyan God too? Hearing this, Super 4 Son Goku obviously said with some disbelief. Because in their time and space, these Saiyans couldn't become Super Saiyan God, and even Super 4 Son Goku asked Shenron how to become Super Saiyan God. But Shenron has never heard of this so-called Super Saiyan God. So of course I can't help Son Goku. This? Mr. Sohan, can you really do it? At this time, Super Blue Son Goku on the other side also looked at Sohan curiously. He was also a little curious as to why Sohan was so confident. Because in the universe of Super Blue Son Goku, they don't know how to become Super Saiyan God. Even he and Vegeta can become Super Saiyan God, that is because of Gods of Destruction Beerus-sama's relationship. Because Gods of Destruction Lord Beerus brought him and Vegeta to the Gods of Destruction world to practice, and then Angel Whis taught them some ways to learn the power of God. In the end, the two of them became Super Saiyan God in a daze. So if you ask Super Blue Son Goku how to become Super Saiyan God, Super Blue Son Goku will definitely shake his head. Because he couldn't tell how he became a Super Saiyan, and how he learned how to control the breath of God. Hearing this, Sohan also looked at Kaolin Son Goku with some doubts. It stands to reason that Super Blue Son Goku should know how to become Super Saiyan God, otherwise how did they become Super Saiyan God? Did Son Goku say you don't know how to become a Super Saiyan God? But if you don't know how to become a Super Saiyan God, how did you and Vegeta become Super Saiyan God? Sohan looked at Kaolin Son Goku with a puzzled expression. It stands to reason that since Super Blue Son Goku can become a Super Sailor, then 440 should also know something about the manufacture of Super Sailor. But the guy in front of him has such a dazed expression, as if he doesn't understand how he became a Super Scribbling God. You're right, Mr. Sohan. I don't even know how I became Super Saiyan God, because Vegeta and I were brought into the Gods of Destruction world by Master Beerus. Then after a while, I naturally became the Super Saiyan God. So if you ask me how I became like this, I'm afraid even I can't tell. Kaolin Son Goku scratched his head. Tenfei said embarrassedly. Although Sohan feels a little unbelievable, but from the current performance of Kaolin Son Goku, it is not difficult to see that this guy should not lie. If he lied, then his expression should not be like this now. And since this is the case, it is enough to prove that the time and space he changed is only the time and space in the original book. As for the time and space where Super Blue Son Goku is, it is not the time and space of the original book, and there is only one explanation. But in fact, this is not difficult to understand. After all, every time and space will change a lot because of a little change. And it has already happened that the three Son Goku have gathered together. What else can't happen? So basically there is nothing to be curious about, because everything is possible. That's it, okay. It's probably because I'm thinking too much, but it doesn't have much impact. Sohan exhaled slowly. Then he set his sights on Super 4 Son Goku. Then he said earnestly, do you really want to become Super Saiyan God? That's right. If possible, please Mr. Sohan. I've been stuck in the Super Saiyan 4 stage for too long, although during this time I have tried various ways to make myself break through Super Saiyan 4. However, without exception, all observations have not achieved any results. Speaking of Super 4, Son Goku shook his head with a self-deprecating face. How could he not wish to continue on the path of Super 4? But Super 4 Son Goku found that after entering Super 4, he seemed to have entered an endless loop. No matter how much his strength improves, he still can't surpass Super 4 and become a stronger state. So this created an illusion for Super 4 Son Goku. Do I also need to become a Super Saiyan God? Maybe Super Saiyan God is the last state of Saiyan? But no matter what, you must try it yourself. And the defeat in the previous battle with Fuyo made Super 4 Son Goku more sure of his inner thoughts? Are you stuck in Super 4, then have you asked old Supreme Kai about Super 4? Hearing this, Somei narrowed her eyes slightly and looked at Super 4 Son Goku. If Sohan's guess is correct, then even if the Super 4 Son Goku in front of him is not the Son Goku of Dragon Ball GT time and space, then there should be inextricably related. You actually know the old Supreme Kai. At the dinner, Super 4 Son Goku's face immediately showed a look of shock, because he didn't expect that the other party even knew the old Supreme Kai. It's natural. Sohan nodded. No. Because even Mr. Whis can't do anything about this matter, and the old Supreme Kai is not good at fighting, so I didn't ask the old Supreme Kai. Speaking of this, Super 4 Son Goku also seemed to think of something. Then his eyes snapped open immediately. Mr. Sohan? Do you mean that the breakthrough of Super 4 has something to do with the old Supreme Kai? Super 4 Son Goku said with a look of horror on his face. Ah, you can really understand it this way. Sohan nodded. The transformation of Super 5 in the original book was proposed by Goodly Hao, old Supreme Kai. Although Sohan is not sure, it is always possible. Actually, Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan God are two completely different paths. Maybe there is no difference between strength and weakness, and your Super 4 and Son Goku's Super Saiyan God Blue, fighting is just the primary state of the two. You can all become stronger in the future and master a stronger state. Saying that, Sohan's mouth slightly raised a smile. Like Super Saiyan 5. What did you say? Mr. Sohan? Super Saiyan 5. Hearing this, Super 4 Son Goku was stunned. It's not that he didn't think about Super Saiyan 5, but in the end all of them ended in failure. No matter how hard he tried, it ended in failure, because he still couldn't get past the bottleneck of Super Saiyan 4. No matter how hard he cultivates and how hard he cultivates, his strength can never surpass the Super Subhuman 4. And this matter has also troubled Super Saiyan 4 Son Goku for a long time, causing him to be out of shape. Even when he was performing the task, he didn't have any state, and he didn't even want to perform task 563. But this is something I can't help. Who made it impossible for him to become Super Saiyan 5? Actually, regarding the state of Super Saiyan 5, you don't have to think how mysterious it is. In fact, it's just like that. A smile appeared on the corner of Sohan's mouth as he spoke. Clenched hands. Srustling. Golden flames burst out of his body in an instant. Then the next moment, Sohan's clothes disappeared directly, and then a whole body of red hair grew. It directly became similar to Super 4 Son Goku. CHFB, Super Saiyan 4. So Mr. Sohan, you can also become Super Saiyan. Super 4 Son Goku looked at him in shock. Although he clearly knew that Mr. Sohan is also a Saiyan, but when he actually saw the other party become Super Saiyan 4, his face still showed unbelievable shock. Don't underestimate me, Super Saiyan 4 is just the beginning. I told you before, what I want you to watch now is Super Saiyan 5. Haha. After finishing speaking, Sohan ignored it, and everyone roared out in low voices. Then bursts of powerful energy gushed out of his body in an instant, and spider-web-like cracks appeared under his feet. All of a sudden, the powerful force erupted from Sohan's body directly knocked back all the people around him by a distance of hundreds of meters. Okay, what a terrifying energy. Can Mr. Sohan really become Super Saiyan 5? At this time, whether it is Super 4 Son Goku or Super Blue Son Goku, all of them are looking at Son Goku, who is in the same time and space as Sohan. Because they felt that the Son Goku in front of them must know some answers. After all, he is Mr. Sohan's apprentice. So if Mr. Sohan can really become Super Saiyan 5, then he must know this guy in front of him. Haha. I know you must be very shocked, even unbelievable, but I advise you to put your mind at ease. Look carefully now, it may be beneficial to your future cultivation. And I don't want to explain anything to you now, because I also need to watch carefully, which is of great help for me to surpass Super Saiyan 4. After finishing speaking, Son Goku ignored them, stared wide-eyed, and watched the powerful gushing of power seriously in the distance. The expression of the whole person is extremely serious. So much so that Super 4 Son Goku and Super Blue Son Goku all stared wide-eyed. This can't be true, Super Saiyan 5. It should be right. This energy is so powerful. Super 4 Son Goku, feeling the powerful energy coming from a distance, swallowed his saliva excitedly, accompanied by one after another powerful energy waves, after slowly stabilizing. When the smoke and dust dissipated, all of them could see clearly. The person in the center has been enveloped by a powerful silver-white energy at this moment. After the silver-white energy gradually receded, they were able to see the terrifying energy emanating from Sohan. At the moment Sohan is covered in white hair, although he may not look as handsome as Super 4. But it seemed even more domineering. Lightning flashes visible to the naked eye. However, his whole person has become like a god descending from the earth. Good, what a terrifying energy. Is this really a Super Race Subhuman 5? Super 4 Son Goku looks unbelievable. He couldn't believe what he saw in front of him at all. I have gone through all kinds of hardships and have not reached this state. It was so easy for the guy in front of him to complete it, which made Super 4 Son Goku feel extremely uncomfortable. Okay Kakarot. I think you should feel lucky about this. If we didn't meet this guy today, maybe we don't know when we can become Super Saiyan Wu, and now our chance to become Super Saiyan 5 has come. At this time, Super 4 Vegeta suddenly came to Super 4 Son Goku, and said with a smile. He knew very well in his heart that this matter might be an opportunity for them. Because the opponent can turn into Super Saiyan 5 so easily, then the other party must know how to become Super Saiyan 5. In this way, as long as the other party is willing to hand over this method to them, then the two of them can become Super Saiyan 5 as they wish. That's why Vegeta felt that this event was worth celebrating. Vegeta, I suddenly feel that what you said seems to make sense. At this time, Super 4 Son Goku obviously reflected it. He thought Vegeta was right. Since I have gone through such a long time and haven't figured out the reason, it is enough to prove that I can give myself more time. It is very likely that I can't really figure it out, but it's different now. Now that the other party has figured it out, I just need to establish a good relationship with the other party and ask the other party how it became like this. So if the other party is willing to tell them, wouldn't they be able to? Has it become Super Saiyan 5 faster? Hey. Kakarot, you guys finally got the hang of it. Seeing Super 4 Son Goku understand his intentions, Super 4 Vegeta became excited. Ask for flowers 00. Super 4 Vegeta naturally tried to surpass Super 4, but the result was naturally the same as Super 4 Son Goku. No matter how hard they try, the end result is no success. And now that someone has succeeded, it is naturally a good thing. Although they are not the first Saiyan to become Super 5, this makes them feel a little uncomfortable. But thinking that the other party is an existence stronger than Master Beerus, the previous thoughts disappeared in an instant. Call out. And at this moment, Super 5 Sohan instantly appeared in front of them all. Powerful energy rushes forward. In an instant, they were all overwhelmed. Okay, what a strong sense of oppression. Is this Super Saiyan 5? Kale and Son Goku also clenched his fists with excitement. That's right, this is Super Saiyan 5, but Super Saiyan 5 is still not the end, I told you this before. Sohan said lightly. Super 5 is not the point? May I ask Mr. Sohan, what is the end of our Saiyan? This question was asked by Super 4 Son Goku? We Saiyan has no end zero. If you ask me this question, then I can only tell you that our Saiyan's strength has no upper limit, which means that we have no end point at all. I believe you should have discovered that our strength can continue to grow stronger as we fight. 1. This also means that as long as we continue to go beyond the limit, our eyesight can be improved without limit. At this time, Sohan said in a very dignified tone. As for the people present, after hearing Sohan's 340 words, all of them became solemn. Because they feel that what Sohan said is very correct, they always feel that their bodies have reached their limit along the way. But their strength can indeed continue to surpass this limit, making their strength stronger again and again. Mr. Sohan, you are right, I really feel the feeling you said. The limits of our bodies seem to be related to our own beliefs that we feel that we have reached the limit, then we have reached the limit. But if we feel that we have not reached the limit, then our strength can continue to improve. It's like when I was fighting Frisia before, I thought I'd hit my limit after using triple Kaioken. But the moment I saw Kellen Beaverishaw killed, I felt that my potential was not limited to this and I could continue to surpass, because only by constantly surpassing me could I be able to avenge my good brother Kellen. Holding such beliefs and thoughts, my power was once again improved, and I became Super Saiyan again. Saying Super 4, Son Goku looked at his hands. All of a sudden, the whole person became a lot more serious. It's as if he's found something he's been missing for years. The beliefs of the whole person have also undergone great changes. At this time, he felt that what Mr. Sohan said was right, they really had no limits. As long as their beliefs are strong enough, then their strength can continue to grow stronger. Very well Son Goku, it looks like you've figured it out. Sohan looked at Super 4 Son Goku, and had to say that this guy looked much more mature than the other two Son Goku. Maybe it's because of the difference in time and space. Although I can't directly help you become Super Saiyan 5, but I can tell you what you need to pay attention to when becoming Super Saiyan 5. Sohan looked at Super 4 Son Goku and said in a flat tone. Yes? What? Hearing this, everyone present pricked up their ears. His eyes widened, as if he was afraid that he might miss something. Emotions, anger, sorrow, joy. Sohan said 4 words unhurriedly. And these 4 words are the key to becoming Super Saiyan 5. As long as you can master emotions, you can become Super Saiyan 5. Emotions, anger, sorrow, joy. Hearing this, everyone showed a puzzled expression. Obviously, they didn't understand what Sohan's words were referring to, and what was the meaning. What I mean by joy, anger, sorrow, and joy is that you must control your own emotions, that is, your own emotions. When you can completely control the 0.9 of emotions, you may not be far from being a super subhuman at that time. However, although Sohan said it in a serious manner on the surface, it seems to be true. But in fact, it is serious nonsense. Because the state of his own Super Saiyan enlightenment is only obtained by the system, so how to achieve Sohan in this state? It's just serious nonsense according to the description in the original book. Because Sohan directly obtained the transformation method of Super Saiyan 5 through the system. So as to how to become Super Saiyan 5, in fact, Sohan is not clear about this point. Fortunately, he has read the original work, so he can simply explain these things based on some descriptions in the original work. Whether it will work or not is another matter. But after all, it is Son Goku, the protagonist after all. Maybe the other party can really understand something after hearing what he said, but it is not certain. After all, there are 27 rings of light in the protagonist. When the people present, after hearing Sohan's words, all of them stared wide-eyed, and waited for a long time without recovering from the shock. Do you need to control your emotions? Does this look allow us to surpass Super Saiyan 4 and become Super Saiyan 5? It seems that there is a possibility. After all, I have never practiced in this area. Maybe it can really make us become Super Saiyan 5 directly. At this moment, Son Goku of Super Saiyan 4 became a little excited, because he felt that what the other party said seemed to make sense. And after all, the opponent has now perfectly and successfully transformed into Super Saiyan 5, which is also the best proof. Since the opponent can become Super Saiyan 5 by controlling emotions, they should be able to do the same as Saiyan. After all, they have stayed at this stage of Super Saiyan 4 for too long. The accumulated energy must be enough, so as long as they control their emotions in the way Mr. Sohan said, they will definitely be able to do it. At least Son Goku thought so. Is it like this? Although I can't become Super Saiyan 4 yet. But I think it is necessary for me to practice in this area. After all, I just saw the powerful energy emanating from Mr. Sohan after he became Super Saiyan 5. That kind of energy is really enviable. At this time, Super Saiyan God Blue Son Goku also stood up and said, although it can't become Super Saiyan 4 yet, he has already begun to yearn for the huge power of Super Saiyan 5. After all, there's no one who wouldn't be intrigued by the sheer power of this aspect of Super Saiyan. It can even be said that Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan God are two completely different concepts. One is the pure power of external power, and the other is the power of introversion, which concentrates all the power in one's own body. Compared with Son Goku, who is the opposite of Super Saiyan God, 293 likes the unrestrained power of Super Saiyan even more. Only that kind of power can make people feel more. I can't control this much anymore. I'm going to start practicing Kakarot now. The power of Super Saiyan 5 is really too strong. Now that we know how to become a Super Saiyan, I think we have to practice hard now, and there is Mr. Sohan in this place who can guide us to practice. I think this is definitely an excellent place to practice. At this time, Super Saiyan God Blue Vegeta spoke with an excited face. Seeing the excited expressions on everyone's faces, Sohan didn't know how to attack them next. Although it is indeed a good thing that they are so excited, but according to Sohan's observation, there are people among them who may become Super Saiyan 5. Except for Super 4 Son Goku, everyone else should be hopeless for the time being. Because currently only Super 4 Son Goku has reached the peak of Super Saiyan 4. So he is also the most likely to become Super Saiyan 5. As for other people who want to become Super Saiyan V first, it is estimated that there is not much hope. At least Ultra Blue Son Goku and Ultra Blue Vegeta are absolutely hopeless right now, because the two of them did not become Super Saiyan 4 themselves, and when they never became Super Saiyan 4 again, it is absolutely impossible for them to perfectly transform themselves into Super Saiyan 5. This Sohan is very sure, no one can cross Super Saiyan 4 to become Super Saiyan 5. But seeing that all of them were so excited, Sohan didn't know how to hit them for a while. Then Sohan just gave a helpless wry smile. I know you are very excited at the moment, but excitement is not necessarily a good thing. You must first recognize what your current strength is, and then proceed to the next step of cultivation according to your current strength level. I know that each of you thinks that you are very powerful, but don't make it so easy to become Super Saiyan 5. First of all, if you really want to become Super Saiyan 5, you must master the full power of Super Saiyan 4. If you can't even master the full power of Super Saiyan 4, what will you use to master the power of Super Saiyan? So everything at this time is causal, so I hope you can figure this out and don't be blind. Having said that, Sohan set his sights directly on Super Saiyan God Blue Son Goku and Vegeta, because these two guys are the least likely to become Super Saiyan 5 now. The road they are taking now is the road of Super Saiyan God, so if they want to become Super Saiyan 5, there is still a long way to go. At least for now, they can't do it at all. You too, I advise you to give up the idea of becoming Super Saiyan 5 now. It doesn't mean that your strength is not strong enough, but that this thing is a bit too far away for you now, because now you can only become Super Saiyan 3 at most. I think I'm right about that. After speaking, Sohan set his sights on Vegeta, because Sohan knows very well if his guess is correct. Then Vegeta in this time and space should not be able to become Super Saiyan 3, which means that Vegeta may only become Super Saiyan 2, jump directly to Super Saiyan 3 on the basis of Super Saiyan 2, and Super Saiyan 4 becomes Super Saiyan 5. This is totally impossible. So for Vegeta this is almost wishful thinking. For it, Vegeta seemed to have noticed Sohan's special eyes, and immediately became uncomfortable, because Vegeta knew very well in his heart that he might be the only one in the field who couldn't become a super demi-human, and everyone else is in existence that can become Super Saiyan 3. So he has to figure out one thing, that is, it is absolutely impossible for him to surpass Super Saiyan 3 and Super Saiyan 4 and become Super Saiyan 5. Then what kind of cultivation should we carry out now? Just at this time, Super Saiyan God Blue Son Goku was the first one who couldn't bear to speak first at the meeting, because he felt that among all the people present, except Vegeta who was a little weaker than him, everyone else seemed to be stronger than him, which aroused the warlike desire of Super Saiyan God Blue Son Goku. So now he is very eager to make his strength stronger, not to say that he surpasses when he is present, people, at least to reduce the gap with them. Otherwise, it would be too uncomfortable. So now there is only one thing in Super Saiyan God Blue Son Goku's mind, and that is to make oneself stronger quickly. Apart from this, there is no other 10 things that are more important than this. Actually, there is no need for you to subsidize the 550 on the path of Super Saiyan, because you have already embarked on the path of Super Saiyan God. So if you want to continue to return to the road of Super Saiyan, it will be good for you, but there are also certain disadvantages. So I think there is absolutely no need for you to continue to be obsessed with Super Saiyan now. Instead, I think you should improve your strength as Super Saiyan God. Of course, if you really want to become Super Saiyan, I can help you become Super Saiyan 4. Sohan spoke in a very flat tone. Becoming a Super Saiyan might seem absurd in the eyes of others, but nothing is impossible in his Sohan world. At least it is very easy for him to do this. And becoming a Super Saiyan is really not a difficult thing for the Son Goku in front of me, because his attainments in Super Saiyan 3 have reached the pinnacle. So it should not be difficult to become Super Saiyan 4 on his basis, at least I can help him achieve it. Should I continue on the road of Super Saiyan God, although I really want to do this, but for the power of Super Saiyan God, I still prefer Super Saiyan style of play. Super Saiyan God Blue Son Goku clenched his fist and said in a very firm tone. Although he didn't express his thoughts directly, the meaning he conveyed to Sohan was no different from what he said. So for his statement, CHDG, Sohan naturally thought of it a long time ago. After all, Super Saiyan 4 is indeed very handsome. So the Son Goku in front of him has some ideas about Super Saiyan, which is also very reasonable. Are you sure you don't want to continue on the path of Super Saiyan God, but want to become Super Saiyan 4? Of course, no matter what path you want to take, I can help you, because the Son Goku beside me who is in the same time and space as me is the best example. He not only became Super Saiyan God, but also I also made him into Super Saiyan 4. Even now he can fuse these two energies together to become a more powerful state. But to achieve such a state, not everyone can do it. Sohan looked at Son Goku beside him very satisfied. This guy is his real apprentice. So what I have to cultivate well is this guy. When I have any problems in the future, he will definitely rush out to help me. As for the Son Goku and Vegeta of the other two time and space, since I have come here now, there is nothing wrong with them if they train properly. And now I have mastered the power of space. At that time, they can use the power of space to transport them to the time and space where they are, and then they can still use the power they have to help themselves. Fusion two energies with each other. I have to say that the time and space I was in with Mr. Sohan was really very powerful. Even when I saw him, I would show envious eyes. This is really an admirable and powerful force. I saw him fighting before, and I could feel the gap between him and me. It was like a world of difference. Even if I practice for a while longer, it's absolutely impossible to catch up with him. Perhaps this is the powerful force brought about by the mutual fusion of the two energies. After saying this, Super Saiyan God Blue Son Goku suddenly exhaled. Although he is very reluctant to admit that someone is much stronger than him, and he is in another time and space, but he has to say that he is indeed not as strong as them. Mr. Sohan, please. I know that the path of Super Saiyan God may be more suitable for me, but now I am more eager to learn the power of Super Saiyan 4. Because I also want to get the power of Super Saiyan 4. I know that I may not be able to combine these two forces in a short period of time, but even so, I still want to learn this kind of power, because I feel that if I can learn this kind of power, my strength will definitely improve in the future. It will be even more prosperous. Because there is a feeling that something is guiding me to learn the power of Super Saiyan 4. It seems that that kind of power is more suitable for me. At this moment, Super Saiyan God, Son Goku looked at Sohan seriously and said, because he felt that he really should learn the power of Super Saiyan 4. Maybe I am learning, with the power of Super Saiyan 4, I will really get some changes. Maybe it will directly affect your own strength. These are all very possible. So he had to learn this ability. Regardless of whether this ability will greatly improve his strength in a short period of time, he must learn. It looks like you've already figured it out. Sohan let out a breath and said slowly. But for the other party's answer, he didn't feel strange at all. On the contrary, it feels very normal. If the other party is not like this, then there is a problem. Because for their Saiyan song has the most primitive and wild power of Super Saiyan is the most suitable for them. Although it is said that the later Super Saiyan is more powerful in human power, but it does not have the original power of Super Saiyan, which is more suitable for them. Ask for flowers. So they must be more like the power of Super Saiyan. This is also an impossible thing. After all, it's not just him, even the current Sohan likes the power of Super Saiyan even more. Maybe it's because of the domineering and handsome feeling of Super Saiyan. But it's true that foreigners will be tempted to use the power of Super Saiyan. Yes, Mr. Sohan, I have made up my mind now. I want to learn the power of Super Saiyan 4. I know you must have a way to turn me into a Super Saiyan 4, so please. No matter what kind of effort I make, I am willing to accept it. So please teach me. Super Saiyan God Blue, Son Goku said. At this time, his tone and expression were extraordinarily serious and respectful. It can make people feel very obvious that he is very serious in begging others. Pray that others will help him. No problem, since you want to become Super Saiyan 4, then I can help you. Facing such a guy, Sohan did not choose to reject Chuan. Since Son Goku wants to become Super Saiyan 4, then Sohan is naturally willing to help the other party, because it is not harmful to him. And if Son Goku in this time and space becomes so powerful that he surpasses gods of destruction later, maybe I will really be useful to the other party in the future, and I have already come to this time and space, if I want to come here again next time. F40. You can directly use instant transmission to come to this place, and let Son Goku of this time and space help you solve many troubles, so no matter which time and space Son Goku is, as long as they become stronger and have received favors from themselves, they will definitely be willing to help themselves at that time. So if you really need to use them at that time, Sohan will definitely not be polite, and will directly use instant transmission to transfer to their time control and let them serve him. With the powerful ability of instant transmission, Sohan doesn't have to worry about anything at all. He can transfer his body to any place he wants without any restraint. So don't worry about these things at all. You only need to use instant transmission boldly, and then go to the past to bring Son Goku from this time and space to the time and space where you are, and help yourself. Is what you said true? Mr. Sohan, thank you so much. We just met. You are willing to help us improve our strength. I really don't know how should I thank you. After hearing Sohan's words, Son Goku became tense. Normally, he would never show such a reaction, because as long as his strength can be improved, nothing is important to him, but it is different now. The other party has nothing to do with him at all, and even has nothing to do with him at all. The other party was willing to help him improve his strength so easily, which made Son Goku excited. He was even extremely grateful to the guy in front of him. There's no need to be grateful to me. If you want to be grateful, you should be grateful to you in another time and space. After all, he is also my apprentice, so when I see you, I will subconsciously regard you as my apprentices, and help you improve your strength. This is also a handy effort for me, and it is not a troublesome thing. So helping you helps you, and it's no big deal. And after your strength improves, if I encounter any troubles in the future, maybe there is a time when you really need to help me. Having said that, a smile suddenly appeared on Sohan's face. All the words he said before were foreshadowing, just for this last sentence. And Sohan believes that after what he said just now, he will come down directly, no matter what he says. The Son Goku in front of him would not refuse, he would even agree, no matter what kind of trouble he encountered, he would stand up and help him. It's amazing. In addition, Mr. Sohan has me in another time and space, if you 5.3 encounter any troubles in another time and space. As long as it is something I can do with my ability, I will help you at all costs. After all, you are also our saviors, and now you have become half of my master, so I really don't know what to do now to thank you. Super Saiyan God Blue Son Goku looked at Sohan excitedly and said, Ihihi. Although with my strength, the chance of using you may be very small, but I have to say, when I heard you say these words, I was very excited. It can be regarded as some rewards for my efforts. After hearing Son Goku's words, the corner of Sohan's mouth couldn't help but curled into a faint smile. Because the book seems to be very clear about its purpose, and its plan has been obtained. This is what he wanted. Let that guy Son Goku be grateful to himself, so no matter what kind of things he encounters next, as long as it is where Son Goku can do it, Sohan believes that this guy will definitely come forward to help him. There is absolutely no problem with this. Sohan believed it very much. Since this is the case, let's not waste any more time, try to reduce the waste of some time, and I will help you become Super Saiyan 4 now. Now you become Super Saiyan 3 first, let me see. Sohan looked at Kale and Son Goku and said, Super Blue Son Goku didn't get ink marks either. He clenched his fists and directly turned into Super Saiyan 3, and then powerful energy burst out from his body in an instant. Waves of energy spread throughout the prison planet like a stormy sea. Very well, exactly as I guessed, your Super Saiyan has indeed reached its peak. In this way we can save a lot of time. The rest of the time is to help you grow your tail. The speaker, Sohan, pointed at Son Goku's A. If I guessed correctly, Son Goku at this time should have no tail. Because all Saiyans basically have their tails chopped off. So it's a very normal thing that they don't have tails. Tail? Is this what Mr. Sohan said? Said Son Goku directly took off his pants, and then revealed his tail. Hey, although the tail was cut off by me, it has grown out some time ago, and I haven't had time to pull it out, so I hid it. Saying that, Son Goku wagged his tail. It turned out to be like this. If that's the case, it can save a lot of time. Having said that, Sohan set his sights on Super Saiyan 4 Son Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. But Sohan found that the two of them were sitting there quietly at the moment, as if they were feeling the joy, anger, sorrow, and joy in their bodies, and tried to find a way to attack Super Saiyan 5. Then I don't pay attention to them at ordinary times. Since they are busy with their own affairs, there is no need to bother them anymore. And what 043 needs to do next doesn't need their help. Next to Trunks and the Arctic Tower, you two better not look at the sky, because next I need to turn Son Goku into a golden great ape. After speaking, Sohan directly released the artificial moon without giving Trunks and Vegeta time to react. Because Sohan doesn't care whether Vegeta and Trunks will become apes at all, even if they become apes and their fighting power is increased by 10 times, Sohan can defeat them in an instant, so don't care about them at all. Does not turn into a golden giant ape. Even turning into a golden giant ape would have no effect on Surang. The moment Sohan threw the artificial moon into the sky, Son Goku also followed Sohan's request to look at the artificial moon, and then his eyes suddenly popped out, and his mouth protruded. In the next moment, the clothes on Son Goku's body were exploded, and he turned into a golden giant ape. However, after turning into a golden giant ape, Son Goku didn't grasp his own meaning, but kept attacking his surroundings like crazy. Damn Kakarot, this guy is really a waste. He still can't grasp the consciousness of the great ape. At this moment Vegeta couldn't help but spit. Because he is inferior to Son Goku in all aspects, so when he catches the opportunity to criticize Son Goku, he will naturally criticize him well. That's right, I almost forgot, after Son Goku turned into a golden giant ape, he couldn't control his own consciousness. But it's not a big problem. Since he can't take the initiative to master consciousness, then I'll just help him. After finishing, Sohan's body came in a flash, and landed on the head of the golden giant ape Son Goku. His fingers poked lightly on his head. After a light blue light flooded into Son Goku's mind, Son Goku's whole body changed from a manic state to a quiet state. The whole person seems to have become a lot quieter. It's not good, that's how it is. Son Goku, now try to feel your own consciousness. Don't let the original painting lose your sanity. Only in this way can your strength become stronger, only in this way can you become Super Saiyan 4. I believe that you definitely don't want to fail, and you definitely want to make yourself stronger. If that's the case, then do as I say. Only I can help you. Sohan's words were very harsh, but it's also extremely useful. After hearing Sohan's words, Son Goku in the painting of the great ape trembled all over his body, and then stared at Sohan with his eyes wide open. No, that's right. Mr. Sohan is right. I will never lose control of my body just because I have become a golden giant ape, and I will never let my self-consciousness is blurred. Only by constantly surpassing myself can I become stronger, and only by surpassing myself and mastering my own strength can I gain more powerful strength. Now is the time for me to master my body. I will never admit defeat. Ha! Then he let out a roar according to the element hole, and a powerful aura spewed out of his body instantly, and then his whole body released such a dazzling golden light. Immediately afterwards, the whole person's body shrunk rapidly and finally turned into a person-sized appearance. Black hair, red hair, and that sharp look. It doesn't take a second glance at Sohan to tell that Son Goku is complete. At this time, he has completely become Super Saiyan 4. As long as you can master your own consciousness, you can become Super Saiyan 4. Apparently, the current Son Goku has done just that. So he has now succeeded. Is this Super Saiyan 4? What a terrifying power. I didn't expect, Zhao, that I would succeed so easily. Son Goku looked at his two-handed fighter with a little bit of confidence. I feel that there is endless power in my body. So his whole body became shocked. You have succeeded, Son Goku. You have now mastered the primary power of Super Saiyan 4, but this is not enough. You must practice seriously to consolidate the power you have now, in order to be able to fully master the Super Saiyan 4 strength. Sohan patted Son Goku's shoulder and said lightly. Sohan naturally has his own purpose in saying this. Because although Son Goku has mastered the power of Super Saiyan 4 now, it is because of his full power to help the other party. That's why the other party was able to successfully become a Super Saiyan warrior. If he didn't help him, it would be absolutely impossible for him to become a Super Saiyan 4 so easily. So there are still some problems. For example, Son Goku, whether he can successfully become a Super Saiyan next time depends on the strength of others. Whether or not he can turn into a Super Saiyan 530 just by using his own power is not sure in Sohan's heart, because he is not very clear about this, but he is certain. Since the opponent turned into Super Saiyan with his own power, it must have some influence, so he continued to practice hard. There is absolutely nothing wrong with mastering the power of Super Saiyan 4, at least it will allow him to better control his own power. And when he transforms next time, he no longer needs to rely on his strength. Just don't worry, Mr. Sohan, I know what you're worried about. Also at the moment I became, CHBJ, Super Saiyan 4, there was a feeling in my body too. That is, if I don't properly grasp my current power, I'm afraid that next time I want to become Super Saiyan 4, it will definitely not be an easy task. Because this time I was able to successfully become a Super Saiyan, and it was entirely because of your strength. Without your help, it is absolutely impossible for me to become Super Saiyan 4 logically. I know this very well. At this moment, Super Saiyan God Blue, Son Goku spoke. Similarly, he believes in this very much in his heart, because he is very clear that he can become a Super Saiyan. It is not his own ability, but relying on the strength of others. Only by oneself can it become smoothly. Similarly, the other party did this to let him feel the power of Super Saiyan Warrior in advance. From this, it will be much easier for him to become Super Saiyan 4 next time. At the very least, if he can master his current power, he can definitely become Super Saiyan 4 next time. But if he is arrogant now and doesn't feel and control the power he has now, then the next time he wants to become Super Saiyan 4, it may not be an easy task. Apparently Son Goku understands this too, so he did not refute this point of view, but accepted it humbly. Hehe, very good. Your comprehension is very high, although this time you relied on my strength to become Super Saiyan 4 logically. But I believe that next time you should be able to become Super Saiyan 4 smoothly without using my power. Sohan practiced with great satisfaction. I have to say that Son Goku's understanding in this time and space is still very good. Don't waste your tongue anymore. To be able to do this is already very good. Mr. Sohan, since Kakarot can become Super Saiyan 4, do you think I can become Super Saiyan 4? At this moment, the blue Vegeta of Super Saiyan God came to Sohan's side nervously. Seeing his former friend turned into a stronger state than himself, he couldn't sit still at this moment. Because he also wants to become as powerful as Kakarot. I and Kakarot were originally competitors, and now the other party has become stronger than me. How can Vegeta easily accept such a thing? What's more, after feeling the powerful energy emanating from Son Goku's body just now, it made Vegeta unable to sit still. Now he can't wait to become Super Saiyan 4 immediately. Then have the strength to rival Son Goku. Even if you can't surpass the opponent, at least you can't be surpassed by the opponent too much. This is also Vegeta's final bottom line. How about this matter? Seeing the excited Vegeta Sohan touching her chin, she didn't know how to continue. I said it. For Vegeta can't even become Super Saiyan 3, so if he wants to become Super Saiyan 4 for the time being, it's probably impossible. Because Vegeta really doesn't have that ability now. Even if Sohan helps the other party, it is just to let the other party experience the happiness of becoming a Super Saiyan 4, and it will not help him in the future. This guy will definitely change back to the original in the future, and it may become more difficult when he becomes Super Saiyan 4 next time. Vegeta, actually, I don't think Super Saiyan 4 is really suitable for you. Maybe the path of Super Saiyan God is the path that really suits you. Because there is one thing, I think even if I don't say it, it should be clear in your heart. It is estimated that there is no way for you to become Super Saiyan 3 now. Sohan let out a sigh of relief. Although I know that saying such words in front of so many people does hurt Vegeta's heart a bit. But this is also something that can't be helped. After all, it is the case. If he can't do it, he can't do it. No, that's right. After hearing Sohan's words, Vegeta drooped his head. Because he knows very well in his heart that he really has no way to become Super Saiyan 3 now. If I can't even become Super Saiyan 3, then how can I become Super Saiyan 4? This point is very clear in his heart, but it's just out of his inner competitiveness, he wants to try a little more. After all, who is willing to depend on someone else's bottom? At least Vegeta is absolutely unwilling in his heart, he can't be willing to watch Son Goku surpass himself so much, while he himself is still standing still. I know that saying this may make you feel very uncomfortable, but there is nothing you can do about it. Ask for flowers. Since you can't become Super Saiyan 3, it will be very difficult for you to become Super Saiyan 4, you should understand this. After all, it is impossible to go beyond one level and step into another level. This is an eternal truth. So I recommend you to continue on the road of Super Saiyan God instead of giving up Super Saiyan God and choose to go on the road of Super Saiyan 4. -0. Because this path itself is not suitable for you before, and you have encountered many setbacks, you should be very clear about this, so you should give up this path that is not suitable for you, and choose to go on the path that suits you. Only in this way can your road go further and further. Sohan looked at Vegeta very seriously and said, of course, all of what Sohan said is reasonable, and he didn't just say it casually, because it is also the same in the original book. Vegeta was able to comprehend the dark blue state of Super Saiyan God on the road of Super Saiyan God, which even Goku could not master. That is enough to prove that Vegeta definitely has a talent beyond Son Goku on the road of Super Saiyan God. So, Mr. Sohan, do you really think I'm not suitable to continue on this path in Super Saiyan? Although Vegeta felt that what the other party said was very reasonable, but now he couldn't help but wanted to continue asking more. After all, seeing Son Goku has mastered a state that it has never mastered, it must be somewhat uncomfortable to be felt by others. He also wants to master that state. That's right, 890, that's exactly what it is. I suggest you ditch Super Saiyan 4, go for Super Saiyan God. Because I see in you the power of the Super Saiyan God that surpasses Son Goku. So I believe that if you continue on this path, your achievements in the future will definitely surpass Son Goku and the others. If you believe me on this point, time will prove everything, and I will never be mistaken. Sohan's tone was still exceptionally calm. He was naturally very determined about this matter, because he is the man who has read the original book. So there is absolutely no mistake in what he said. This is absolutely the right choice. It's just that whether Vegeta in this time and space will listen to his persuasion depends on Vegeta's personal fortune. If he is willing to listen to persuasion, then his strength will become very strong in the future, and he will become like Son Goku is as powerful as, even surpasses Son Goku, but if he doesn't choose to believe in himself, what kind of his strength will become in the future, Sohan will be helpless. After all, I have said what I should say, and I still have to leave the rest of the decision to myself. If Vegeta does not choose to follow his own arrangement, but chooses to go his own way, then there is nothing to say. Because I already have a lot of powerful subordinates around me now, one more Vegeta, one less Vegeta, in fact, it doesn't have much impact, and Sohan doesn't care about this. But then Vegeta's answer did make Sohan show a satisfied expression. Because Vegeta knelt down on the ground almost without any hesitation. Then he said seriously, okay, I see, Mr. Sohan, I really believe what you said, because I have the same feeling in what you said, so I believe you what you said must not be deceiving me. So since I can't become Super Saiyan 3, then I should continue on the road of Super Saiyan God as you said. Since the road of Super Saiyan is not suitable for me, why should I continue to choose it? This time Vegeta's tone was extra serious. And it can be seen that this guy is really serious now. There was no tone of joking at all. Very well, since you are willing to believe my words, then I am willing to help you. Using this cultivation method can bring your mastery of the breath of God to another level. Sohan saw the other party very seriously and said. Then his finger poked 3.6 lightly on the opponent's head. A casserole of protein flowed straight into Vegeta's mind. Then Vegeta's eyes widened. Then he looked at Sohan in disbelief. Thank you so much, Mr. Sohan, if it wasn't for you, I really don't know what I would do. Now I have enough confidence that I will surpass this guy Kakarot in the future. 0. The reason why Vegeta said such arrogant words now was not because Vegeta was so complacent. It's because he really got a lot of benefits from the mysterious cultivation method that Sohan gave him. For example, he simply tried this cultivation method. Now he already understood how powerful this cultivation method is. You can completely improve your own strength. Improve your own cultivation speed. It can be said that it has great benefits for one's own cultivation. So this is why Vegeta is confident that he can surpass Son Goku in the future. Because if he can perfectly learn the ability taught by Mr. Sohan, then he will definitely be able to do it in the future. 27 Beyond Kakarot? Hiss. Vegeta, what great ability did you learn from Mr. Sohan? At this time, Kale and Son Goku looked at Vegeta's smug expression, and became curious instantly. So what happened? How excited this guy actually became. Could it be that Vegeta really learned some powerful abilities from Mr. Sohan? Hey, I can't tell you this Kakarot, just wait. After I master this ability, I will definitely be able to rub you on the ground. Vegeta looked at Son Goku with some complacency and said, this ability I just learned from Mr. Sohan gave me a lot of confidence for a few days. Although I know that Super 4 is very strong, but now Vegeta feels like that. Mr. Sohan is right, he should follow the path of Super Saiyan God. Now they just need to learn this ability step by step. When the time comes, I will definitely gain more powerful power than Super Saiyan God Blue. And at that time, I will definitely be able to defeat Kakarot with my own strength. Thinking of this, Vegeta became excited. Because he thinks he can do it. Cut. Vegeta, you guys are too complacent, although I don't know what powerful ability you got from Mr. Sohan. But I believe in the power of Super Saiyan 4, as long as I successfully master the power of Super Saiyan 4, I will definitely become stronger in the future. Even becoming Super Saiyan 5 is not out of the question. Kaolin Son Goku said confidently. The transformation of Super Saiyan 4 has brought him a lot of confidence. Otherwise, he would never have said that. Very good. Seeing how confident you all are, I can feel relieved. You are all very good, I believe that your strength will become stronger in the future. Sohan nodded and said with a smile. Although these two guys are not Son Goku and Vegeta in this time and space. But I have to say whether it is Son Goku or Vegeta in the time and space of 630, their personalities are the same. This has not changed at all. However, we will leave here in a short time, so you'd better take advantage of this time to practice well. I can also give you some pointers here. After I leave, if you want someone to guide you in cultivation for free, then but it is not an easy task. Sohan said lightly. Although Sohan doesn't plan to leave here for the time being, so Dion also doesn't plan to stay on the prison planet. Because since I have come to this time and space, I naturally have to take a good look at it. Otherwise, wouldn't it be a big loss? Not only Kaolin Son Goku and Kaolin Vegeta, but everyone present after hearing Sohan's words, all hurriedly entered the state of cultivation, and when they encountered something they didn't understand, they rushed to ask Sohan. Because all of them know one thing very clearly in their hearts. Sohan's strength is very strong, strong enough to surpass the point of destruction. And since the other party is willing to help them cultivate and guide them to improve their strength, then this is naturally a very good thing, so they must seize the time. If they can't grasp the time, what awaits them will not end well. And if you miss this village, there will be no such store. At this time, there is probably no one else who can help them improve their strength except Sohan. So now they are naturally racing against time to improve their strength in this place. As for Super 4 Son Goku and Super 4 Vegeta, they just stayed in place quietly and practiced well. Because they also tried to break through Super Saiyan 4 and become Super Saiyan 5, but in the end all of them ended in failure. Because no matter how hard they try, they find that they can't control their emotions, and if they can't control their emotions, then it will be very difficult to grasp the opportunity of Super Saiyan 5's breakthrough. Damn it, it still failed. Super 4 Son Goku exhaled and said helplessly. How could he not want to become Super Saiyan 5? It's just that he has worked hard for a long time, but in the end there is no progress. This also made him very distressed. But there is no way, others have already told him all the tricks, and the body tells them that only after mastering emotions, sorrows and joys can they become Super Saiyan 5. If this is the case, then they still can't become Super Saiyan 5, then no one else can be blamed, it can only be considered that they have no talent or hard work has not been in place. So Super 4 Son Goku doesn't blame others. Son Goku is actually Super Saiyan, it is really difficult for me to achieve this state. But I don't think you need to be too hasty. You should calm down. Perhaps you should not just pursue the power of Super Saiyan 5 now. You should try to accept the power of Super Saiyan God. Because the state of Super Saiyan 5 is indeed very miraculous, and it is not something you can achieve if you want to. So I think if you can try to learn the power of Super Saiyan God now. As for the power of Super Saiyan 5, you can ask the old Supreme Kai after you go back. Of course, I'm just guessing. If he doesn't know anything about this aspect, then forget it. But there is a high probability next. He may have some understanding of Super Saiyan characters. And if this is the case, he may help you become Super Saiyan 5 or not. After finishing speaking, Sohan patted Son Goku on the shoulder. Everything I should say has already been said. Good Li Zhao, as for how they choose, it has nothing to do with me. But Sohan still hopes that they can all improve their strength a little bit more. In any case, I have helped them, so the stronger they are, the more they will repay themselves at that time. If their strength is very weak, then even if they want to repay themselves in the future, it is estimated that it will have no effect on Sohan, because their strength is too weak to repay him at all. Okay. Super 4 Son Goku originally did not intend to give up the cultivation of Super Saiyan 5. After all, Mr. Sohan can achieve such a state, so he can do it naturally. This is an obsession in Super 4 Son Goku's heart. However, after he heard what Sohan said, he was instantly relieved. That's right, he has worked so hard for so long but still hasn't achieved it. How can he say he can make a breakthrough now? Thinking of this, the expression on Super 4 Son Goku's face became much more relaxed. Since there is no way to become Super Saiyan Satora now, then just wait. Anyway, Mr. Sohan has already told them 190 just now. The old Supreme Kai may have relevant news about Super Saiyan 5. So they just need to go back to the old Supreme Kai and ask them if they know something about Super Saiyan 5 is enough. Although the fact that he couldn't become Super Saiyan 5 immediately made Super 4 Son Goku feel particularly uncomfortable, but he also understood in his heart. This powerful state is definitely not something that can be achieved casually. At least for now, he really can't become that state. Okay, don't think about it so much. I've told you just now that although I can't directly turn you into Super Saiyan 5, but I have a way to turn you into Super Saiyan God. Maybe you can let go of Super Saiyan 5 for a while, and accept the power of Super Saiyan God. Maybe after you accept the power of Super Saiyan God, you will have new discoveries. Everything at this time is uncertain. After all, it is indeed very difficult to become Super Saiyan Enlightenment, not to mention you, even I, when I became Super Saiyan Enlightenment, I put in a lot of effort. So you'd better not have too much confidence. Having said that, Suhan shook his head helplessly. I can become Super Saiyan 5 only by relying on the ability of the system. And Super Saiyan 5 is, after all, a mode, Chad, among fan animations. It may be due to the relationship between the system that he was able to achieve it successfully, but Suhan is not too clear about whether Son Goku and the others can become such a state. So there is no need for them to put all their time and energy into the Super Saiyan 5 area, the ethereal stuff. After all, there are many ways to improve strength, and there is no need to hang yourself on one road. So the most important thing they should do now is to recognize the current situation. Figure out what you should and should not be doing right now. Knowing this is more important than anything else. After all, if this is the case, their strength can all be improved. There will definitely be many benefits. It turns out that when Mr. Sohan became Super Saiyan 5, he also put in a lot of hard work. It seems that what you said is indeed correct. We may really be a little too hasty now. Forget it, let's brew it well. And the way to improve one's own strength is not only the state of Super Saiyan. We should have recognized the current situation sooner. Son Goku exhaled helplessly and said, although he is not willing to give up the matter of Super Saiyan 5, but now I am afraid that he can only let this matter go for a while. After all, this is also impossible. They can't just give up their previous practice just because of the Super Saiyan dance. Mr. Sohan, you probably didn't lie to us when you said that you could turn us into Super Saiyan God. Of course. Sohan spoke very seriously. Besides, do I need to lie to you? Since I said it, it must be possible to do it, otherwise I wouldn't be so sure. So if you guys believe me, I will do my best to turn you into Super Saiyan God. But if you don't believe me, there is no way, you can continue to try to become a Super Subhuman 5. But I can remind you of one thing, that is, this state is very illusory, whether it can be achieved or not, it really depends on one's own destiny. Perhaps you may not be able to reach that state in a lifetime of cultivation. Because I was the same way back then. Sohan looked at Super 4 Son Goku and Super 4 Vegeta very seriously. The strength of the two of them is stronger than Kaolin Son Goku and Kaolin Vegeta, so Sohan has more hopes for them. Train these two guys well, maybe they can really help you in the future, and these two guys are time patrols after all, they have mastered part of the ability of time, and when they need help, they may really help you. Those who can rush out to help themselves. Regarding this point, Sohan believed in it very much. Because whether it is Son Goku or Vegeta, they are very affectionate guys. In the future, if I really encounter something that needs their help, Sohan believes that they will definitely stand up and help him because of the fact that he has helped them. It's so good. In that case, I will leave it to you, Mr. Sohan, to turn us into Super Saiyan God. Because our current strength is indeed a bit weak, and there is no way to catch that guy for you. So we want to improve our strength as soon as possible, so we can put our spearhead on Super Saiyan 5. But it seems that what you said is correct, we may not be able to become Super Saiyan 5 for the time being. But since we can't become Super Saiyan 5, then we have to put our goals on other things, because we have to improve our own strength for the time being. Only by improving our own strength can we be able to deal with it. Depend on. So we have to improve our strength. Super 4 Son Goku looked at Sohan really and said, they've let Foyo escape at their own hands many times. So they must find Foyo and catch that guy, otherwise they will stop doing the two-time patrol. Ask for flowers. After following this guy for so long, he finally let him escape from his hands. If so, what's the point of my work? So this is something that annoys them very much. But there is no way, after all, Fuya's strength is stronger than the two of them combined, so they also understand very well that even if the two of them join forces, they will definitely not be able to defeat Fuya. 0-0. So if this is the case, just find a way to improve your strength. If you improve your strength, you will be able to arrest that guy when you meet Fuya in the future. This matter has been brewing in Son Goku's mind for a long time. No problem. Since you want to become a Super Saiyan God, then I will help you. Plus there are so many Saiyans out there who want to help you become a Super Saiyan God, it's not too difficult to do. After speaking, Sohan set his sights on Kaolin Son Goku and Kaolin Vegeta. As we all know, to create a Super Saiyan God, you need 5 Saiyans with a righteous heart to inject their hearts into another Saiyan's body. Helping Super 4 Son Goku become Super Saiyan God was not a difficult task for Sohan. If there were no Saiyans here, maybe Sohan would still have some headaches, but there are so many Saiyans here, so Sohan doesn't have to worry at all. Ultra Blue Son Goku and Ultra Blue Vegeta, plus Ultra 4 Vegeta, and Trunks. There are already 4 Saiyan 590 people with a heart of justice. There is another one, whether it is myself or Son Goku in the same time and space as myself can do it. But Sohan naturally didn't plan to do it himself. Since you can let Son Goku handle it for you, why do you want to do it? Just let Son Goku replace yourself and inject the heart power into the body of Super Saiyan God, and then you can help Super 4 Son Goku become Super Saiyan God. Regarding this matter, Sohan has already thought very thoroughly. Are you ready, Son Goku? Sohan looked at Super 4 Son Goku and said, that's right Mr. Sohan, I'm ready now. We can start anytime now. Supermarket Son Goku didn't know what to do next, but he could tell that Sohan actually asked her if she was ready, so they must be doing something next. Very well, since you are ready, Son Goku, you should know how to make a Super Saiyan God. I have done this for you before, and you have also seen the production of Vegeta in our time and space of. Now you come to help them popularize science. Then you can help him become a Super Saiyan God. Sohan looked at Son Goku in his own time and space very seriously and said, whether it is Son Goku or Vegeta in his own time and space, they are all Super Saiyan Gods made by Sohan in the same way as Super Saiyan Gods. So Son Goku must know how this process should come about. This way, you can save yourself a lot of trouble. Leave it to me, Master Sohan. I can still handle such a small matter. Son Goku spoke very seriously, because he can do such a thing easily. After all, he became Super Saiyan God in this way before, so he is very clear about such things. And there will never be any unexpected situations. For this Son Goku is very confident. Very well, if this is the case, then I don't need to continue to arrange, then you can help the supermarket Son Goku become Super Saiyan God. In addition, I know that you definitely want to become Super Saiyan 5. If you have nothing to do, you can communicate with them and fight more, which may help you surpass Super Saiyan 4. Sohan looked at Son Goku seriously and said, Sohan's 2.1 will also say the same, not to fool Son Goku, but to tell the truth. Fighting with the other two time-space selves can indeed improve Son Goku's abilities in various aspects. After all, surpassing oneself is the real becoming stronger. Transcending oneself in another time and space can also greatly improve one's own strength. It can improve all aspects of the body. This is absolutely impossible to fake.